يا من صليت بكل الأنبياء، يا من في قلبك رحمة للناس، يا من ألفت قلوبا بالإسلام، يا حبيبي يا شافعي يا رسول الله، بأمي وأبي فديتك سيدي، صلاة وسلام عليك يا نبي. حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى، محمد حبيبي يا محمد، يا رحمة للعالمين يا محمد، يا من حليت حياتنا بالإيمان، يا من بجمالك علمت الإحسان، يا من نورت قلوبنا بالقرآن، يا حبيبي يا شافعي يا رسول الله، بأمي وأبي فديتك سيدي، صلاة وسلام عليك يا نبي. حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى، محمد حبيبي يا محمد، يا رحمة للعالمين يا محمد. صلى الله على خاتم الأنبياء محمد، رحمة للعالمين، رحمة للعالمين، محمد رحمة للعالمين، رحمة للعالمين، محمد رحمة للعالمين، رحمة للعالمين. حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى، محمد حبيبي يا محمد، يا رحمة للعالمين يا محمد. حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى، محمد حبيبي يا محمد، يا رحمة للعالمين يا يا من صليت بكل الأنبياء، يا من في قلبك رحمة للناس، يا من ألفت قلوبا بالإسلام، يا حبيبي يا شافعي يا رسول الله، بأمي وأبي فديتك سيدي، صلاة وسلام عليك يا نبي. حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى، محمد حبيبي يا محمد، يا رحمة للعالمين يا محمد. حليت حياتنا بالإيمان، يا من بجمالك علمت الإحسان، يا من نورت قلوبنا بالقرآن، يا حبيبي يا شافعي يا رسول الله، بأمي وأبي فديتك سيدي، صلاة وسلام عليك يا نبي. حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى، محمد حبيبي يا محمد يا رحمة للعالمين يا محمد. صلى الله على خاتم الأنبياء محمد، محمد رحمة للعالمين، رحمة للعالمين. محمد، محمد رحمة للعالمين، رحمة للعالمين. محمد، محمد رحمة للعالمين، رحمة للعالمين. حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى، محمد حبيبي يا محمد يا رحمة للعالمين يا محمد. حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى، محمد حبيبي يا محمد يا رحمة للعالمين يا محمد. يا من صليت بكل الأنبياء، يا من في قلبك رحمة للناس، يا من ألفت قلوبا بالإسلام، يا حبيبي يا شافعي يا رسول الله، بأمي وأبي فديتك سيدي، صلاة وسلام عليك يا نبي. حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى، محمد حبيبي يا محمد يا رحمة للعالمين يا محمد. يا من حليت حياتنا بالإيمان، يا من بجمالك علمت الإحسان، يا من نورت قلوبنا بالقرآن، يا حبيبي يا شافعي يا رسول الله، بأمي وأبي فديتك سيدي، صلاة وسلام عليك يا نبي. حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى، محمد حبيبي يا محمد يا رحمة للعالمين يا محمد. صلى الله على خاتم الأنبياء محمد، محمد رحمة حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى محمد حبيبي يا محمد يا رحمة للعالمين يا محمد حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى محمد حبيبي يا محمد يا رحمة للعالمين يا محمد. يا من صليت بكل الأنبياء يا من في قلبك رحمة للناس يا من ألفت قلوبا بالإسلام يا حبيبي يا شافعي يا رسول الله بأمي وأبي فديتك سيدي صلاة وسلام عليك يا نبي حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى محمد حبيبي يا محمد يا رحمة للعالمين يا محمد يا من حليت حياتنا بالإيمان يا من بجمالك علمت الإحسان يا من نورت قلوبنا بالقرآن يا حبيبي يا شافعي يا رسول الله بأمي وأبي فديتك سيدي صلاة وسلام عليك يا نبي حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى محمد حبيبي يا محمد يا رحمة للعالمين يا محمد صلى الله على خاتم الأنبياء محمد.
Dear guests and participants, the event will begin shortly. Before we begin, I have a few housekeeping announcements to make. Kindly switch your mobile phone to silent mode to avoid any interruption during the event. And all participants are reminded to stand up upon the arrival of our guests into the hall. Your cooperation is highly appreciated. Thank you. Next, don't miss the opportunity to get your very own Guru Name tag and exclusive co-ed merchandise. Simply scan the QR codes displayed on the screen to place your order. Dear guests and participants, the event will begin shortly. Before we begin, I have a few housekeeping announcements to make. Kindly switch your mobile phone to silent mode to avoid any interruption during the event. And all participants are reminded to stand up upon the arrival of our guests into the hall. Your cooperation is highly appreciated. Thank you. Announcing the arrival of our VIPs into the hall.
يا ربي بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا واغفر لنا ما مضى يا
Please remain standing for the singing of IIUM anthem.
Let's lead the way, light in the future, share the wisdom to the spirit of Islam. Revelation and reason shall excel, shall prevail. Merging faith and knowledge, we the Khalifa, we will
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good evening with great joy. I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all present here for joining today's program. Respected speakers, Sister Nur Irdina binti Zahurim and Brother Muhammad Sharil Naim bin Ahmad Tamizer, President of Bachelor of Education Student Society BES, Brother Muhammad Faiz bin Mustafa, Representative of Co-ed Student Bodies, Program Manager of From Notes to Board, Forum on ROS and Practicum, Brother Harith Hakimi bin Ruzlan, and all participants. Welcome to From Notes to Board, Forum on ROS and Practicum 2026. My name is Fatin Nur Ayuni and I will be your MC for tonight. To gain barakah for our program today, let us commence today's program with the dua recitation. I would like to call Brother Datu Muhammad Fakaruddin bin Liman to lead the dua recitation. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Al-Fatihah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma ghfir lana dhunubana wa liwalidina warhamhum kama rabbawna sigaran. Ya Allah, we gather here today to express our gratitude for all the blessings you have given us. Make us among your servants who are always thankful, whether for the small or abundant blessings that you continue to grant us. Ya Allah, Ya Ghaffar, Ya Rahim, we humbly ask for your blessings and mercy upon today's program, From Notes to Board, Forum on ROS and Practicum 2026. Truly, you know that we are here seeking your knowledge and wisdom so that we may grow and serve others in ways that please you. Allahumma ja'al jama'ana hadha jam'an marhuma wa tafarraqana min ba'dihi tafarruqan ma'suma wa la taj'ali fina wa la ma'ana shaqiyya wa la mahruma. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Thank you, Brother Datu, for the dua recitation. Brothers and sisters, it is my pleasure to inform you that the next session is a sharing session with the co-ed alumni about experiences as a co-ed student in ROS and Practicum. Without further ado, I would like to invite our moderator, Sister Nurul Inshirah Farhana, to proceed with the next session. The floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening to everyone. First of all, I would like to welcome our distinguished guest speaker to the stage. Please join me welcoming Sister Nur Irina and Brother Shahril Naim. Honorable guests, Sister Nur Irdina binti Zahrim and Brother Muhammad Shahril Naim bin Ahmad Tamizir, speakers from North to Board Forum on ROS and Practicum, and our beloved future teachers. Welcome to Alumni Sharing, a special event brought to you by Forum on ROS and Practicum 2026. My name is Nurul Inshira Farhana, a first-year student majoring in guidance and counseling, and I will be your moderator for tonight. Alhamdulillah, all praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for allowing us to gather here today. Thank you all for taking the time to join us in this meaningful sharing session with our esteemed alumni. Brother and sister, I believe that everyone cannot wait anymore to hear some insightful sharing from our speakers. But before that, let me introduce you to these two incredible people. On my right, Sister Nur Irina binti Zahrim. How are you, sister? Sister Irina is currently pursuing her Master of Education in Teaching English as a Second Language, TESOL at UiTM Puncak Alam. She graduated with a Bachelor of Education in Teaching English as a Second Language with honors from IIUM, where she consistently made the Dean's List and was awarded the Rector List upon graduation. She was also named Best Academic Student for the Bachelor of Education for Students TESOL at the 41st IIUM Convocation in 2025. In addition, she is the gold medalist, first place in the Spiritual Program Leader Award category at the Student Activity Awards, Stewards 2024 at the university level. Alright, after we finish for Sister Irina, on my left, we have Brother Muhammad Shahril Naim bin Ahmad Tamizir. How are you today, brother? So, Brother Naim is currently working as a child therapist at EduGuru Education Group Sendirian Berhad, a position he has held since June 2025. Okay. He is also a registered counsellor with experience in providing emotional support, conducting counselling sessions, and delivering psychoeducational programs, particularly focusing on youth and trauma-related issues. He graduated with Bachelor of Education in Guidance and Counselling with honours from IIUM, achieving a CGPA of 3.92. He was also awarded with the Best Academic Student for Guidance and Counselling and consistently made the Dean's List for 6 consecutive semesters. His minor was in Moral Education and Educational Psychology. Okay, right. We have our speakers for today. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us begin our first question, which is directed to both Sister Irina and Brother Naim. For the first question, I would like to ask, before starting ROS and Practicum, students usually wonder what to do first. So, from your experience, what is the most important preparation before going to school? So, Brother Naim or Sister Irina want to start first?
Alright, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera everyone. Are you guys still okay? You had your dinner already? We was not informed that it's going to be so full like this actually, okay? Alright, so first and foremost, before I start to answer your question, I would like to congratulate to the organizing committee. Can you guys give round of applause to Bexa for organizing today event, which I believe will be quite beneficial for those students who will be enrolled in your practicum later, okay? So you can call me Brady Naim. I was actually graduated last year. Me and Sister Rina were actually within the same batch actually. Okay, so the question back is what is the preparations, right, before entering into practicum session. So may I know before that, where's guide student? Can you raise your hand first? Tak banyak Oh, dekat belah sana. Okay, TESOL students. Okay, we have most of TESOL students here. TASL? Okay, last one, ISET. Okay, alright. Okay, so I'll answer in general first and then I'll go to specific for counseling students. Okay, so basically, one of like the most important thing for you to know before you enter into the period of having the practicum is to know the school. Okay, when I say to know the school, we will have like a period of time where you have to nominate a schools, isn't it? Have you guys done that? Yeah, so actually beforehand or after nominating a school, you need to actually do some research regarding what kind of school are you going to enter in. Okay, usually what I'll do during my time, I will actually ask the seniors what kind of school that we are getting into, what kinds of upper managements are the schools, because we need to know every school they will have a different culture, because different school have different principle and principle brought their own ways of working style. So as someone who are going to enter into a new environment, a foreign environment, you need to ensure that you know what kinds of school you are getting into. Okay, the second part is for you to have a good understanding on what it means by practicum. Okay, practicum means by you are practicing the knowledge that you have learned from year 1 until year 3. So basically, we are practicing things, the knowledge that we have learned throughout our degree at the moment. So it will be very beneficial for you to actually be known that, okay, this is the time for me to apply what I have learned, and by understanding the concept, actually you will actually grasp what will be the directions of your practicum period will be. Yeah, so that will be my answer lah. I'll Sisi Dina would like to add something on that.
Right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello. All right. So I see a lot of familiar faces. I'm really happy to be back, and I'm really happy to see you today. Hopefully, with whatever that we have to bring in today on the table, would help you for your future practicum experience, your ROS, and things like that. I was informed that most of you are also very much curious. Majority are very much curious about the ROS, right? The ROS experience. Most of you are going for ROS, but most of the experiences I will be sharing today would also be some things that happened for my practicum too, which is the real deal, right? The actual practicum experience where you put all the theories into practice. All right, so back to the question, what were the preparations you as a practicum teacher before you actually report to your assigned schools? I have a few on my list. All right, so just now, Brother Naim actually mentioned about you doing your research about the school that you chose, right? So kalau ROS, okay, allow me to use my English if that's okay, so that's a lot more chit-chatty session. All right, so for ROS, you are able to choose your school, correct? Okay, good enough. Usually, most of you would return to your old schools, kan? You dah tahu the culture, how it's like. Some of you may want to venture into new schools, which is fine. Doing good preparation in the sense of you studying where, okay, exactly the kind of schools that you just want to be in and things like that, the school culture and things like that, it is so true. But with the preparation that you have, you also have to lower your expectations. Lower your expectations. Kenapa? Right? You can have things figured out. Yeah, I know the school. I've heard about this and that. Right? I have one fun story. Right? Quite funny. it's within my batch. We had this discussion. There would be like words of mouth. There were spreading rumors. Ada sekolah ni macam ni. Jangan pilih sekolah ni. Avoid this school. Go for other schools. So semua orang pun takut. Okay, cikgu-cikgu dia macam ni. Atau maybe administration dia macam ni. So you get scared. So what will people do? Definitely avoid lah kan. You tak pilih sekolah tu. Now, the plot twist was, we had friends who took up the challenge. They chose those schools that people avoided. And you know what happened? They had a blast experience. Compared to those who actually, oh, I figured out this school. This school's great. I've heard so many good things about it. What could possibly happen? Right? You rasa, you have it all figured out. Okay? Good enough that you get yourself prepared. Betul, you memang kena buat research. Sekolah tu dekat mana? Look at the persekitaran of the school. That would tell you the kind of students that you would teach. Lower income, social income families kan. It's a different approach with these students. And that was basically my experience with my practicum. I had to teach these students. And benda tu sebenarnya it's not something yang you terkejut. Sebab memang persekitaran dia macam tu. And even the penolong kanan had enlightened me that she gave me options. You want to take the challenge or not? Alright? But that's on you. It's okay. But then again, with whatever that you have in mind, lower your expectations. Okay? You would not know until you are there. Trust me. Okay? You can have it figured out, tapi until you are there, baru you tahu. And itulah nak cakapnya. Plot twist was that we had those friends who took up the challenge, went for the schools that everybody avoided. They were welcomed. The principal actually recognized them. They had a blast. Right? So kita boleh merancang, tapi he is the best planner. Right? And let's say, if you had those schools yang memang tak kena your expectations sekalipun, there are also things that you have to keep in mind. There must be a reason that you are in that school, which I will touch on later through my experiences. Now, the second thing is, what should you prepare? What kind of expectations you should ada sebenarnya? Expect that you meet SEN students. You know SEN, right? Special needs. You tak boleh totally delete the fact that, oh, bila masuk sekolah biasa, mainstream schools, you're not going to meet these students. Nope. That could be a potential. Could be 1 or 2 students in your class. In my case, I had 2 for both of my classes yang I was assigned to. Right? So mana you nak tackle that? I will also touch on it after this. Now I want to revert back to the point about lowering your expectations. It's more than that. So when I did my practicum, it was actually a school situated within the outskirts of Kuala Lumpur. Not going to name which school it was. Right? Okay, so it was actually out of my expectation because we had no clue where the school was, which is a bad take, right? Go for whatever Brother Naim has said just now, do your research, because where we were trying to find the school, we did not expect where it was. Dia macam, ada sekolah dekat sini? Macam tu. Can you imagine? Alright, tak apa lagi. Okay, pergi sekolah tu. And then the penolong kanan was very nice. But you know something that clocks you when she asked me and my friend, so okay, you see this is the persekitaran, so you should expect the kind of students that you're going to meet. You will still have the option, you nak accept atau tidak. Now when it comes to options, what is that supposed to mean? What does that mean? Should I panic? Should we just try out for something else, right? Tapi time tu I was quite like conflicted because in a sense, we don't have much time, we had to find a school. So eventually we said yes, right? And then the first week happened. And it was funny because we were welcome. The teachers were really nice. But they would come to you and say like, okay, so you're from UIA. So the school is very jauh actually. It's like 40 to 30 minutes from UIA, right? 30 to 40 minutes. So quite jauh lah sebenarnya, quite the journey. And then they were like, you're here, okay, that's nice. So why here? Okay, kenapa kat sini? So why you're here? So macam kita pun macam it just happened, we're already here, no turning back time now, right? So eventually things like this lah. Okay, apa-apa sekalipun lower your expectations. And a thing that I would like to add, this is a thing where bila you tak hadap lagi benda tu, you have this picture perfect template of what practicum would look like, correct? Kan, ROS ke, tak kira lah apa pun, you have this picture perfect template. So you anggap apa-apa yang benda best you baca, you tengok, you rasa macam best gila pergi sekolah. bestnya student suka kita, bestnya mengajar. True, correct. But until reality hits you, it could be the total opposite and you could be dealing with a bulk of challenge, right? So again, what was my experience? Okay, first day, okay, tak apalah orang nak tanya, kenapa kita kat situ kan? Okay, fine. Okay. And then tiba-tiba, alright, so this is your place, okay, this is your table and things like that. Now, when it comes to like your mind kan, what you envision about practicum, you mesti rasa macam, oh, you get proper table or proper ventilation and things like that. So here's the thing, yeah. You might get no fan, no aircon, maybe a tiny desk that is almost something that you can fit in a dollhouse. Yeah, you can get a classroom with the natural ventilation of a sauna. It's scorching hot. That was my experience. Tapi tak adalah yang cakap, apa ni? Tak adalah. But when I lay it out to you, what you learn out of this experience is that you pergi dalam keadaan you tak expect apa-apa. Terima. And just say Alhamdulillah. Alright? Memanglah aku macam, 5 months. Well, truth be told, my first day, I vomited. I got into a migraine. The heat got to me and things like that. Right? Sebab you kena adapt lah suasana sekolah tu sendiri and all those things. But then again, what's the point of me telling you all this? Kenapa nak kena lower your expectation sangat? Here's the thing. Kerusi tu berfungsi tak? Okay, we got patched up stools actually, not even proper chairs. And within like, it's a combination of 3 tables together. At the same time, ada 5 orang yang pakai meja yang sama. And tak ada AC, tak ada kipas, tak ada apa, right? So yeah, imagine that. But then again, the stool works. You still have your voice. Your voice works, right? Your presence actually matters. So it should be good enough. You boleh pergi kelas tak? Boleh. You masih boleh mengajar tak? Boleh. Should be good enough. So whatever it is, bottom line is, Alhamdulillah, hadap je. Alright? Is that the answer? Should we stop? Do you have time for that? Should we just proceed? Proceed. Okay. Right. To respect the time, I'll just continue. I hope that's okay for everyone. All right. So yeah, just that. Lower your expectations. And again, when you lower your expectations, kenapa I cakap benda ni paling penting? It's because you akan rasa you kena compare your journey dengan orang lain. Stop comparing your journey. If it's even to a point yang you tak boleh nak tengok updates orang lain, go for it. Go for an internet detox or WhatsApp detox, whatever you call it. Alright? Stop looking at people's updates. You akan question benda tu. Oh, orang lain ada lift dekat sekolah, kapak bertingkat. I don't have all that. Okay? Tapi with whatever that people portray, just like social media, tak semua benda perfect. There are things that they keep in secret lah. Okay? Ada benda-benda yang challenging, you don't put it out there. So again, lower your expectations. Right? Again, back to SEN pupils, you can expect that. Right? And this is not easy. Dulu kita selalu tulis catering to the diverse needs of students. 40 kali lah ulang kat essay, betul tak? Right? We do that countless times. Macam oh senangnya nak buat kan, but it's easier said than done lah. Alright? Expect that, and also something that you can start practicing. Voice projection. Okay, this is a good tip. If you were asking me about tips, what would be a good long-term investment? A mic. A cheap one, but a good one. Right? You guys yang mana ada soft voice like for girls kan, kadang-kadang bukannya you tak boleh kuatkan suara, but when you do, you started to screech. You screech. Benda tu pun is very dysfunctional to an actual classroom. Pun tak bagus juga. So instead of draining or straining your throat, get a mic. Alright? Get a mic, a good one, a simple one. So tak payah strain your voice. And this is also not just for those yang suara lembut and whatnot. The case is, kadang-kadang you ada relief, you ada classes. On top of that, every day you are always shouting. Could be that. So invest lah juga dekat mic. Not just for those who are, have the small voice and things like that. But again, if you want to train and you think what you should start with, maybe your voice projection. Suara you kena kuat. A good thing is that, kadang-kadang when it comes to your lessons kan, you could have a very good lesson. Right? Something very unique. You bring in something new in the classroom, good. Tapi when you execute, satu benda yang boleh merosakkan everything, your voice. Benda kecil macam tu would give a bigger impact and it could actually even impact your marks lah. Right? Kenapa? You macam shot sendiri kat depan. Okay, you have all these things, you know, you say all the instructions, lepas tu you marah budak yang bising kat belakang, you know, tiba-tiba backflip ke apa kan. You tak boleh marah dia orang pun. Sebab arahan you memang tak jelas. You were talking to yourself. They cannot listen to you. So, genuinely, akan ni lah, meragam lah. Right? So then again, voice projection. Those things you can take into consideration. What you can start with before you go for your practicum. Yep, that will be my answer. Sorry for the lengthy answer. Right.
Okay, that's such an insightful sharing from both of our speakers. So for the first question already sounds interesting for all of you, right? So we will move to the next question. During ROS and Practicum, many students are unsure about their role. So could you share what duties and responsibilities they actually have in school? So Sister Irina, over there.
Okay. All right. So now, what are the expected duties and responsibilities for ROS and Practicum? So basically, we have to draw the line lah. ROS lain, Practicum lain, right? For ROS, genuinely kan, when people come and ask questions about takut lah ROS, sebenarnya kan you guys, tak ada apa nak takut. Because Practicum is so different because you have to execute, you have to control benda yang you tak boleh expect, you know. ROS is something you can control because it's just a report. Betul tak? You just write. You see, you think it's interesting, you put it down on a piece of paper, document that lah. Okay, but I would say that when it comes to ROS, what it boils down to is basically just you fulfilling the requirements. Okay, simply if you do something that's not required, tak adalah markah, tu je. Okay, but there are tips about ROS, but I think I'll just add up later. But just something about ROS is that I think there's a ruling where you cannot go for relief classes. Correct me if I'm wrong, kan? Kita tak boleh mengajar. We don't have like, technically we do have to apply it, but we can't, right? Tetapi there are cases where you terpaksa, memang you kena ambil lah, terpaksa pula kan? Mana boleh paksa kan? Ambil lah kan? Right? Tapi you tak boleh lah mengajar. Right? You can take up relief classes. Sometimes ada juga certain schools. I had a friend who went for their ROS, eventually teaching for the entirety of ROS. Sudah. Tu tak boleh lah sebenarnya. Kalau ikutkan ruling, there's even like I don't know, like there's a guideline for it. Memang they strictly don't allow you to do that. So kalau boleh, maybe reach some kind of negotiation with the school. Okay, maybe for a few. In my case, I ada je. I did have like 2 relief classes. Itu pun out of emergency. No one was there. Good enough. You have the ability, go for it lah. Help out je lah. Okay, but then again, you can put this in a writing. You relief apa je you nak tulis kan? Right. Then again, bila you masuk your classes, you tahu tak, that's the liberty that you have to test out apa benda yang you nak tahu daripada budak-budak ni. Particularly for your niche area. Tak kisahlah you TESOL ke, TASA ke, ISET ke. Maybe just check on whatever they know. And then you can detect some misconceptions. You start boleh nitpick apa benda yang you boleh, maybe when you do your practicum nanti, you can focus more on that. Sebab you nampak generally they have some misconceptions about these things. Mana-mana yang dah pernah join program, if you are part of the academic society or your basically kuliah society, even better. You have those modules, betul tak? You ada explorers, you go for school attacks and things like that. Bring that into the classroom. You dah tahu all these games kan? Try and test it out. Apa yang you boleh keluarkan dekat dalam ROS report tu? You see the interest. How interested are they in the subject? Test that out. Go for any kind of modules that you have. I did some kind of like tongue twister je. But the class was noisy. Tapi it's not just fun and games. To you, what you put in your write-up tu, make something yang it's actually hidden. Some subtleties yang, some layers yang orang takkan sentuh pun benda tu. Tapi you nampak. So whatever you see that enticed you, write it down. That's how you can get an A grade ROS report, in my opinion. Okay, that's what makes you different. That difference comes from how you put that reflection to be something that's outstanding. And that's also a misconception lah. Kita selalu rasa, when it comes to ROS, whatever you have to put out, it has to be on extraordinary experiences. Tak. What's ordinary is how you write it down. Okay, these reflections that you take that would make it interesting, that the insights, okay, those things yang you letak dekat dalam your report. Now, these things, I'm telling you all these things, my ROS experience actually, I tak sama dengan you guys. I was a bit late because I did my umrah first. So I lambat. The interesting thing was, sekolah dah habis school activities. Sudah nak tulis apa kan? Betul tak? Right? So but eventually those things revolve on those school activities, curricular, academic. So what's left for me? Now, me sharing things like this today is to tell you that kalau I pun I'm left with this, I make the most out of it, still came out okay, you can do it too. Alright? What did I do? Antaranya is that I negotiated with the penolong kanan. I asked them, so what's left? Okay, so what's left for me actually when it comes to these activities? Apa yang I boleh write down? Dia kata tinggal Independence Day. So I joined in. Okay, I can train a few students, maybe a poetry recital and things like that. But I did something different. Okay, full stop. Itu dah satu peluang. Second, meetings. Okay, maybe you akan rasa meeting, nak buat apa dalam meeting tu, bukan faham pun. No, go into your panel meetings. Tengok Arabic panel meeting macam mana, English panel meeting macam mana, Islamic education macam mana. Tak pastilah, you guys kan clients, right? I want to talk about that, but now you will enlighten that. But things like that. Masuk meeting tu banyak lagi you akan belajar juga. That I think I will add up later lah. Alright, but things like this, okay, expected duties. For practicum, your new best friend is actually relief duties. Kontra dengan your ROS. Okay, kalau practicum, your new best friend are actually extra duties, and those extra duties are like relief classes. Kenapa relief classes? Sometimes kan kita rasa macam there are students who are like, banyaknya relief dapat. You memang dia sinonim biasa. Practical teacher, relief. Practical teacher, relief. Me and my friend, kita orang 2 orang je for the evening session. So bayangkan, our names are like bersilang-silang. 89, you know. It's just us, right? It's just all pushed to us, right? But don't complain. You dekat situ 5 months je. Right? And they are understaffed. Try and ask around. Kenapa tak boleh ada names? You tengok jadual cikgu sekarang macam mana. Kadang-kadang diorang asal pun berlari tau pergi surau. Itu pun takut-takut. Okay, you guys, I'm just going to leave you for a few seconds, for a few minutes. Please do your work. Do not get out of the class. Right? Lagi solat je. They don't have those intervals. Apparently, tu pun susah. Okay, so have the empathy that you are young enough, you have the ability. Just lend some hand. Hadap je lah relief tu. Seksa-seksa macam mana pun. Right? Me and my friend bertukar-tukar Panadol. Pening jaga budak-budak. Kadang-kadang you seorang 4 terus kat depan you. Satu kelas 40 orang. Macam mana? Susah tau. Right? But again, you are young. You can help. Go for it. Sekejap je. Right? Okay. What else ya? Okay. There's other thing. For week 1, what do you do? Kan first week biasa blur kan? Macam buffer kan? Right. Week 1, my advice to you, satu je. Make it a bigger mission to hafal the names of your students. Please, please, please. Tak susah pun. Tapi ramai yang by the time the first observation happens, you tak tahu pun nama student you. So what do? Okay, you answer question A. You answer question B. Now what does that tell to your supervisor? You don't have rapport with your students. And that would affect your marks. Okay. Rapport is important. Right? So week 1, analyze your classroom profile. The simplest thing is to start by remembering their names. Memorizing their names. Simple ta'aruf je the first week. Okay, minta semua orang bangun ke, or like go one by one. Ask their names. You have, okay, print dulu semua class list yang you ada. Right? And then you read out their name. Ask them, what do you prefer me to call you? Katalah nama dia Muhammad Haris Al-Atas. Tak tahulah. Okay. Right? You nak I panggil you Al-Atas ke Haris? Okay. Boleh jadi ikut Al-Atas ke kan? Al-Atas kan? Okay lah. Tak apalah. Itu dia punya. Apa yang dia prefer? Okay, itu repot lah juga tu. You are calling them names that they prefer you to call them. Kan benda tu kan sensitif juga kan? So make the effort. Right? So apa you buat kat that list name tu? Bracket. Oh, okay, Haris. Okay, Haris. Okay, next. Buat sampai you dah fulfill semua kelas. Right? And then analyze your classroom profile. I chip in a bit, one experience about my SEN student. Okay. What about analysing the classroom profile? You kena tahu students you ni apa level of proficiency diorang per se for language kan? Apa kekuatan diorang? Are they the weak learners, very weak, advanced and things like that? You kena tahu tu daripada first week lagi. Okay, and maybe have some kind of kelonggaran for the first week untuk you to test out je. Teacher, I need to know where the students are at. You could just ask by one question. What's so hard about English, for example? Okay, I want you to write it down in your book. Write it macam you bercakap dengan teacher. Tapi, I still want you to try to use English. Kalau eventually it's so hard, you have to use Malay, yeah, go for it. Tapi still try to use English. So they would write lah. Okay, macam-macam language lah kat dalam tu kan. Tapi tak apa, let them do that. Okay, dah habis the week, collect. And you baca. Another in-class experience that I had was that I have one special needs student dekat my form 2 class. Budak ni memang known for disciplinary cases, okay? But I tak berapa kenal dia sangat. But I'm just gonna analyse him within my class. He would like ganggu orang, okay? This is a Chinese boy, okay? Ganggu orang and what? And he's big in a sense. He's like twice my size, so I pun takut jugalah kan sebenarnya kan, okay? But I tak faham dia, so I try something simple. I ask him to stand up. Duduk bising dalam kelas kan, I ask him to stand up. One simple question. What's your name? I tahu dah nama dia. Nakkan dia name tag kan? What's your name? Dia gelak. Dia gelak. Okay, tak apa lagi kan, sabar lagi. I ask you, what's your name? Okay, tak jawab lagi. Gelak lagi, duk gelak lagi. Lepas tu kawan-kawan dia dah start tolong. Right? Tapi dia macam tak boleh tangkap benda tu. Third time, what's your name? Dah tukar bahasa Melayu. Nama awak apa? Tak jawab-jawab juga. Gelak lagi lah, duk tengok kawan lah apa semua. I'm asking you, what's your name? Apa nama awak? The fifth time, what's your name? Tunjuk name tag. Tu kan jawapan kan? Tak tangkap juga. So there's this back and forth. But what does that tell you about the student? Dia mesti ada something else that I need to find out. Maybe a learning difficulty. That's how you diagnose, just like on the grounds of student ni lain lah. Okay, student ni lain. So approach you tak boleh sama dengan other neurotypical learners. So you, macam tu lah you analyse your students. Okay, and the second part was actually to analyse the nota tu, buku nota. There are students, dia memang fluent. Tapi by the time you check, banyak spelling errors. So mungkin speaking bagus, tapi writing mungkin dia need a lot more polish. This is how you analyse your classroom profile. So these things lah. Apa lagi dekat sini? Tu je lah. Hafal nama your students. Just get to know your classes. That's it. Right? I think I'll just pass the floor to Naim. Right?
Alright, okay. So when we are talking about from a counselling perspective lah basically. So kalau ROS, it's like you are observing kan. Tapi kalau for a counselling student, counselling major, when you are doing your practicum, you are actually entering the school 100%, okay? You're gonna get the relief, you're gonna get your client, you're gonna handle real cases, okay? Actually, at first, when I get relief, I am so happy because that was like the only place for me to meet my students, kan? Sebab kita eager. Bila kita masuk sekolah ni, kita akan ada satu perasaan yang aku akan make sure aku boleh bantu budak ni. You know, those kind of eagerness like, okay, let me help this boy. Macam tu kan. Tapi, eventually, that eagerness is good. You need that as a counselor, as a teacher, you need to have that spirit. But, at the end of the day, we need to know our limitation as well, you know. Okay, so as I mentioned, as a counselling major, when you enter into school, you need to complete your hours. Kita ada 252 hours yang perlu untuk diselesaikan. Okay, 252 hours is actually a lot for 7 weeks. Okay, like you need to ensure that by the end of your practicum, okay, I dah settle 252. Okay, maybe other major will ask, kenapa 252 hours? Why counselling major they are so obsessed with hours? You pergi jumpa mana-mana major, counselling major mesti kata, kejap wait, jam aku tak cukup lagi. Wait. Macam tu kan. Sebab that was the requirement by LKM. LKM is Lembaga Kaunseling Malaysia, that you need to fulfill 252 hours so that you will be entitled untuk memohon lesson. Okay, at the end, lepas you dah habis degree, okay, you can use the hours untuk memohon lesson sebagai seorang counselor. Okay, So, when I first arrived week 1, it is the ha ha hi hi hu hu week I will call. Okay? It is the moment you can ha ha hi hi. Pergilah jumpa pentadbir, cikgu ke everyone, student. That is the moment you can introduce yourself. Hi everyone, my name is Naim. I am a trainer counselor here. Hi, saya Cikgu Naim. Boleh jumpa saya kat bilik counselling. Promote yourself. Advertise yourself. Because we need to remember thing. There's a stigma. There is stigma that how student wants to meet you and tell you the darkest secret of themselves. You know, it was very, I will say misnomer lah. You know, it's very hard. So as a new counselor, we need to neglect that stigma. Okay, you kena prove that our new generation of counselor, we are different. Kita bukan borak-borak kopi dekat dalam bilik guru Kita bukan cikgu-cikgu yang you datang cerita kat I keluar, I pergi masuk bilik guru, I cerita kat semua orang. No. So we need to eliminate that. So that was the most important thing when I first arrived at the school. That was my target. I nak make sure yang my students, they will have the mindset yang, oh, okay, aku rasa macam selamat lah nak jumpa cikgu ni. You know, those kinds of mindset. Okay, so my first week will ha ha hi hi. I will meet every teachers. I will introduce myself. I will meet all the upper management, principal, vice principal, and etc. Perkenalkan diri kita, what are we doing, and etc. Okay, after the ha ha hi hu hu, this is the another period, which is your need assessments. You kena buat need assessment. This is particularly for guide student. So what is means by need assessment? Need assessment tu adalah satu dokumen ataupun satu data yang kita akan spread dekat sekolah, so that at the end kita akan tahu apa general issue that this school have. Okay, so actually from the data, the needs assessment is where we actually getting our client. So what I do, I will get a list of relief class, and then I akan masuk each of the class. Even I went to cikgu yang buat relief, I said to her, can you make sure that I enter each of the class in the school, so that I will ensure meet everyone and I can distribute my questionnaire. So I'll distributing my questionnaire, and then I dapat balik, and then I receive my data. So from my previous school, then I realized, okay, this school generally they have intrapersonal issue, or they have interpersonal issue. Okay, so from that you are actually strategizing. Okay, so now I can focus on grief issue, for example, or I can focus on bully issue. So me myself, daripada second year, I was very into grief counselling. My directions was in counselling was I wanted to become a grief counsellor, because I was being supervised by Dr. Haniza binti Rais, which is one of the pioneer in grief kan. So my aim is that when I enter school, okay, I nak collect as much as grief punya cases, sebab I wanted to sharpen my skills kan. So from the next assessment that I receive, I cari semua yang ada grief issue. Bila I dah jumpa, and then I meet them and I introduce myself. Okay, hi, cikgu ni, cikgu ada kat bilik counselling, kalau nak jumpa datanglah waktu rehat ke apa ke. So kita buat, we set like a date lah. Basically kita set temu janji, so that kalau dia nak datang, dia boleh datang jumpa. Okay, so I collect all of the grief cases, and then after that I started my session. So usually week 1, week 2, counselling student, you won't have session, or I will not suggest you to do even a session pun. Sebab waktu tu baru pengenalan kan, you are building a rapport. So build the rapport as much as possible, because when you build a good rapport, it will help you to even strengthen your capability to even receive much clients. Okay, so 252 hours kita perlu ada sekurangnya, if I'm not mistaken lah, you should have at least 17 client. You kena ada 17 klien, dan daripada 17 klien tu you kena make sure satu klien bersamaan dengan beberapa hours, so that at the end you akan achieve lah 252 tu. So week 1, week 2 I tak akan buat session. I start dengan week 3 I akan start buat session. So I will start lah, I akan start dengan session. So usually kalau untuk practicum, your session will be, each client will be at least 4 session. Okay, so usually bila you dah buat session 1 dengan session 2, you will be able to identify issue. Okay, you should be able to identify issue. Or usually kalau case yang lagi berat, dia akan ambil masa lagi banyak. Tapi generally kalau academic, issue ke, stress issue ke, usually sesi pertama, sesi kedua, you can already identify your issue. Okay, what we'll do next after you identify issue is that is the moment where you have to develop your treatment goals. Okay, what this means by treatment goals? Treatment goals is a document to guide your intervention. Okay, so bila you dah ada treatment goals, baru you tahu, okay, for example, you saw, I have one client, I share to you one of the client, came into counseling session with anxiety symptom. So as a counselor major, it is not your position to diagnose. Always remember that. Even as a general, as a teacher, you are not the one in the position to say that, okay, this child has dyslexia. Okay, this child has learning disability, dysgraphia, for example. It's not our position because the diagnosing part will be done by other people, other profession. But what we do, we can screen. Okay, semua orang ambil kelas EDEP kan, Educational Psychology, which is you are actually being equipped that, and you kena bersyukur only UIA provided that classes. I have compared to the other university, diorang tak ada basic any educational psychology classes. So bila diorang tengok student by just like rawly by just seeing, they cannot see oh these students actually bermasalah. But we can because we have been equipped with the skills. Okay. Where skill. So what I did was like when my client came with anxiety symptom, okay? So I need to screen first. So that is the moment where you need to use the knowledge that you have from the class of individual appraisal. Kita nak pakai test yang mana? Kita nak pakai what kind of test that can be actually supported our finding that saying that this particular client is having a anxiety, for example, you know? So from that, you will catering your intervention, and after that, it will eventually you will enjoy it lah sebenarnya. Okay, so I missed counseling so much actually because at this moment I am actually my work was dealing with neurotypical and neurodivergent cases, basis to basis kan. So sometimes I also miss the counseling. So actually, you will feel nice lah. Tapi one of the most thing that you should realize. Kalau dulu kita ada counselling lab, you guys are not, I mean like you are dealing with case study punya case. Okay, but when you are entering school, you are dealing with a real case. Okay, orang tu memang jumpa you sebab dia ada anxiety. Orang tu jumpa you sebab dia memang ada symptom of depression, for example. Orang you jumpa you sebab dia tak makan 7 hari sebab otak dia tak pernah senyap untuk berfikir. And as you as a teacher and as a counselor at that time, it is your responsibility to help. And you need to ensure that you will help. Okay? So that is the moment when it comes that you need to consult with your site supervisor and also your academic supervisor. I am very grateful that we have a very supportive academic supervisor. Regardless lah who is your supervisor, you consult case at pukul 2 pagi pun, they will actually answer because we are dealing with life. Sebenarnya, we are dealing with people who are in needs of help. So it is very important for you to ensure that everything that you do will help to the person. Okay, and then I also wanted to emphasize that please be mindful in terms of the legal part because counseling we are actually attached with the legals as well. Okay, we have a law that governs us, which is Akta Kaunselor Malaysia. Akta Kaunselor Malaysia is where it's explained about confidentiality, okay, hak keriasaan, you cannot share, and also our intervention, psychological risk and everything is also being explained by Akta Kaunselor Malaysia. So kita kena berhati-hati, okay, because kalau kita silap, it's not only gonna cost us, it's gonna cost our site supervisor and it's gonna cost the university itself. Alright, so before masuk sekolah, make sure you punya counselling skills tu dah intact dah. Okay, you dah tahu what to do. You are revising how to write a session notes, what kind of theories or intervention that we have. Okay, those kind of things very important lah. Okay, I am talking specifically for guidance and counselling students. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for both the speakers that share a valuable, important point for us to know about ROS and Practicum. So, for this round, we already know that preparation is the most important thing for us to have because we know ourselves better. When we don't know ourselves, we can get the results that we want. Sometimes we plan like this, but mestilah kita nak avoid something yang we don't want to face that kind. So the preparation is the most important thing. Okay, and also both of our speakers have mentioned about ROS and Practicum is nothing to be worried. Even though they mentioned like that, the duties and responsibilities that we gain from the point of both of our speakers said that duties and responsibilities sounds like a small matter for us to take part of it, but actually it's a challenge for us to counter that and challenge ourselves to get to know ourselves better, right? So we will proceed to the second round of the forum. So this question is for Sister Dina. One important aspect that many students often ask about is the assessment of ROS and Practicum. So how is ROS and Practicum graded? It is just pass or fail, and what do students need to do to pass successfully?
All right. Okay, thank you so much for the question. Right. Okay. So basically, it's about whether what's the measure like, right? Whether is it pass or fail, or are you graded and things like that. For ROS or Practicum, generally, it's a yes and also it's a no. Right? Technically, both are graded. Maknanya you will be put in tiers lah according to your teaching performance, your observations, how you actually do it for Practicum. But for ROS, it depends on your write-up lah, betul tak? What insights, what reflections, how you put in those analytical lenses and put that into writing and things like that. So genuinely, it is graded, and for you to pass, for you to pass, memang kena pass lah kan? Right? Genuinely, for ROS and Practicum, you kena pass lah, and for you to pass, it will also put you into tiers according to how you did it lah. Right? So, but then again, what are the requirements to successfully completing it? To me, right, for Practicum, it generally relies on your ability to adapt and also experimenting your chances with teaching. Okay? Like for example, when a certain classroom situation is presented to you, what do? Okay, if something does not work, what is your backup plan? Right? Things like that. Alright, so where do I go first? There's just so many things. Okay? Let's say for one classroom example that I have, that same student, that Chinese student, for him, he has this issues lah. Dia susah nak pay attention in the class. I'm going to touch on like differentiation strategies that I did, right, that maybe could help you. How are you going to navigate a classroom, okay, with the ocean of people, could be like within 40 to 30 plus, 40 plus students dalam kelas kan? Dan semua tu dah memang mixed ability. And then you are challenged with having to cater to that on top of ada seorang dua SEN students dekat dalam kelas. Tak senang tau sebenarnya. Okay, you are the very weak, upper intermediate, and then you have one SEN, for example, right? So again, with your classroom analysis kan, I would like to touch on a bit on what Brother Naim mentioned just now. Betul, you tak boleh diagnose your students sendiri. That's not your job. As a teacher, your niche dekat subjek English tu je, focus on that. But, right, macam Naim cakap tadi, it's so true, your ADEP class dekat first year tu, that is like the golden ticket sebenarnya. Sebab kalau orang lain, dia tak nampak benda tu. Tapi you dah belajar the spectrum of autism, right? You dah belajar all these traits and characteristics. So, it will give you an idea. So, apa yang you boleh buat as a cikgu? Your strategies have to be differentiated. Okay? You tak boleh apply satu approach and anggap, oh semua budak boleh telan benda yang sama. Dengan cara yang sama. Not fair. That won't be fair. For the SEN student, for the very weak student, for the weak student, right? So how do you navigate that? Macam mana you nak go through all those things and still manage to have an effective classroom? Right. Go back to your bigger mission. Okay. You nak apa out of these students sebenarnya? Right. Now, one approach with my SEN students, I have this thing yang I rasa macam it's not really in the rule book lah. Okay, you belajar benda ni tak ada macam mana kita nak cater ramai-ramai ni kan? Right. You dah belajar, you dah tahu, okay, student ni macam ni. Okay, that's this Chinese boy ni, okay. I'll go with this Chinese boy experience, yeah. I noticed that he could not even answer his questions. Okay, dah kat situ maknanya kalau katalah I bagi reading questions, I tak boleh minta dia jawab pun. I test dulu, salin. I ask him to just, okay, teacher nak awak salin je soalan ni. I want you to just write this down in your book. 3 soalan je teacher minta. And I leave him for a while. I attended back to my class. Duduklah sakan tulis dekat depan kan. And the moment I panned my vision to the boy, guess what he did? Guess what he did? Apa dia? One responses kuat sikit. I nak dengar. Macam mana? Kacau the other students? No. A lot more crazier than that? Joget bukan? Huh? Apa dia? Hilang? Oh, he vanished. He vanished. Wow, that would be scary to me. I'll be spooked. But no. Okay. Are there other responses? Crazier than that. Huh? Screamed? Did he scream? Is that a screaming answer? No, he did not just scream. No, he did not salin. For sure. I hoped that he did that, but he didn't. What did he do? Insane thing that you think. I tulis je. What do you think? The craziest thing that he did? Eat the paper? Oh my. I will be gobsmacked. Okay. Nope. He did not eat the paper. Okay. Basically, his position dekat dalam kelas tu dia sebelah tingkap. What do you think he did? Huh? He did not jump off the building. Korang ni. No, it's not. It's crazy, but not that crazy towards insanity. The moment I panned my vision towards him, dia cabut tingkap tu guys. Dia cabut tingkap. He looked at me with this expression like he's presenting a gift. That glass panel dekat 2 tangan dia, tengok je teacher dia. You know? And I'm like, you know, if he just like backflipped or something, you know, at least I'll be like, oh, cool. But he took out a glass panel, and I macam terkejut, right? So dekat situ pun would add up to your analysis of what kind of student you are dealing with. At this point, stop thinking, what do I do? What do I do? Refer the counselors. Betul tak Naim? Let them help them. Don't stress your because ni bukan kepakaran you. You kena faham. You are an English teacher. Okay, yes, you took the EDEP class, but it does not make you a certified counselor. Correct? Kan? So let them do the screening. You can have your assumptions, right? But then again, let them have it in a sense that biar diorang take the proper measures to attend to the student. Because if I'm not mistaken, they have an individualized plan. Betul tak? Right? And then maybe they will be placed in PPKI or things like that. But, itu satu case. Now, another case, I have one Form 1 student. Pun send juga dekat my class ni. She's a girl, Chinese girl. Tapi, what's different about her is that she's smart. Okay? She performs academically well, above average. Tetapi, she has her difficulties. Her pronunciation slurred, her pronunciation, and it's like quite intelligible. You kena make up what she wants to say. So basically kan, the way she did it was that, teacher, I write book, something. So it's like one word chunks, and you as a teacher, I macam develop a skill tau. I rasa macam I ada satu superpower ni tau. Dia bagi, okay, word, combine. What does she say? Macam nama tak I macam competition tau tak? Okay, apa dia? Right? Macam I ChatGPT pula untuk dia kan? But I tried. I wanted to know. I wanted to understand. Sebab she can do it. She's good. Acknowledge that. And you cannot disregard. And that's the problem. Sebab kita rasa when we have the presence of these students, tak kira lah seorang atau dua, they are your student. If you ask the actual teachers, I did ask. I asked for any teacher, new teacher, senior teacher, what do you do? Because they know this kid. Tapi dia akan just cakap, we can just help to an extent je, and then the rest kita biar dia. We couldn't do much. And she has this habit of scribbling dekat belakang. Dapat dia duduk pula kat belakang, scribble je lah. And scribble in Chinese kan, I pun tak tahu apa dia tulis. Right? But she would just be in her own bubble and things like that. Tapi as a teacher, dia dalam kelas you, betul tak? So don't disregard. So I tried ways with her. This is not something you have in the rule book. Maknanya bukan you go back to the textbook, oh kalau situation macam ni, you buat macam ni. This is where your intuitive role as a teacher comes into picture. You decide what's best. And there are times things won't work. Try again. Things won't work, try again. So what do I do with Chloe ni? Nama bukan sebenar lah. Okay, I tak tahu nak tukar nama lain lah. Alright, let's say Chloe. Okay, so Chloe ni, what did I do? Dia nampak macam awal-awal dia macam tak interested. Okay, but she has this thing where whenever I bring in something new in the class, oh dia excited. Dia macam, dia curious. Normal lah tu. Right, it's just something new you bring in the class. Dia akan, the first thing, you tak start kelas lagi, dia akan lari ke depan, dia akan inspect your barang. Teacher, what is this? What is this? What is this? Okay, and that's the thing about your lesson plan pun kadang-kadang, you can go as far as planning, tapi kadang-kadang set induction you takkan sama macam mana you address the neurotypical learners. We budget like what, 3 to 5 minutes set induction, betul tak? Tapi kalau you ada this ocean of students, you think you boleh ke? For me, I have to be empathetic in a sense that my 1 or 2 minutes in the earliest parts of the lesson, attend to Chloe. Give her that portion of time. That is her justice. Okay? Calm her down dulu. Okay, calm her down dulu. Okay, Chloe, I'm going to get to it. I know you're interested. Wait, sit first and I'll tell you what is it about. Okay, and the thing about SEN students ni, you kena emphasize. I realise that. Diorang nak tahu apa action you nak sekarang. So give a verb emphasis. Sit first. Time tu you dah tarik lah kerusi kan. You tak dia duduk. Alright, and I'll tell you later. Okay, wait for a while. And dia akan, and slowly she would, comply lah. Alright. Another thing is, macam mana you nak include students macam ni, at the same time you nak be fair to the rest. Tak fair lah, betul tak? You dah attend to kat dia seorang je. Would be fair for the advanced learners? No. Would it be fair for the very weak and weak learners? No. Let's say you tengah buat your classes. The thing about Chloe, dia suka bercakap, you don't know when to stop her. Dia tak ada that pragmatic competence yang you have to stop answering now. So she would take up this huge chunk of time untuk bercakap. Dia suka, dia excited. Right. Now you have to train her. I would limit one open-ended question only for her, for every class. That is her form of justice for her lah. Right? And then the rest would just be close-ended questions. This is an important thing, yeah. Let's say it's a reading question. The question is like, who is the main character? There are students yang akan macam, time tu kan, dia nampak ada yang macam ngantuk lah, macam dah restless apa. Name call. Dia orang ingat you tak nampak kan? Katalah you panas situ kan. Okay, Afif. Terkejut dia. This is how you get your students on your toes. On their toes, ya. Okay, so who's the main character? Lepas tu, katalah tak ada seorang jawab. Senyap gila. I put out my hangman activity. Tiba-tiba I buat blanks. Okay, give me one letter. That's in the answer. Kalau dia bagi letter yang salah, minta dia berdiri kejap. Jangan lama-lama. Stand up. Dia dah takut. So dia akan bantai lah. Memang dia akan teka lah kan. Okay, tak apa. Right. When they give you a letter, okay, that one student dah bagi letter. Project balik dekat SEN student tu. Chloe, is that the correct letter? Sebab dia pandai kan? Acknowledge that. That's her quality. She can answer questions. Mungkin kesusahan untuk bercakap. But she can fact check answers. So, let her be the teacher assistant. Teacher pula. Chloe, is that the correct answer? No. Okay, no. You tahu jawapan, so you facilitate lah, right? Okay, betul. Then you let that off. Another student yang macam dah restless. Call out dia ni. Mana yang bercakap lah apa semua. Ni lah time-time you grab balik attention tu. This is a strategy. The question is, are you being fair to all students? True. Kalau katalah, tapi teacher ada je yang nak jawab. So that would be fair. Ada je yang betul-betul tahu answer. At the end of the day, give them the opportunity. Okay, what's the answer? Mana yang tahu jawapan tu lah kan? Then you give it back to them. So genuinely sebenarnya, being a teacher is like this dynamic view. Dekat the corner of your eye dah tahu dah ada yang dah macam pick up on that. Dia dah tahu pick up on that. And bila you dah hafal nama student, you dah tahu diorang duduk kat mana pun sebenarnya. So macam superpower jugalah. But you will know this, right? But this is how you make sure that everybody is included. And it's actually a stigma. Sebab kadang-kadang you just push the students away sebab you rasa it's a hassle. It's so easy. Being a teacher is not easy. Okay? Being fair is not easy. Tapi can you do it? Give it a try. And give it your best try. Right? Because that's your duty. That's your amanah. Right? That's how you become a good murabi. Right? Tu je lah kot. But then again, go back to understanding your students ni macam mana. Right? Know them, get to know them, and then try to attend to them. Regardless of, memang lah, maybe eventually this student Chloe ke or the other Chinese boy turned out to be somebody yang ada ADHD ke, kan? Ada learning disability. You tak boleh put the label to it. That is the job of the counsellors. But what you know is that students tu masih dalam kelas you, attend to them. Right? They are not, they haven't changed in other classes. Dia tak masuk PPKI lagi apa semua. So, again, be fair and try to adapt your strategies. That's how you go by your practicum. Okay, bila you dah start mengajar. There's not going to be a person on your side to tell you, betul ke apa kau buat ni? Is it going to be like the correct thing I do for my students? And this is across all courses, right? You can do this. Betul ke apa kau buat ni? It's on you. You have to try and there will be failed attempts, but you are still trying, right? So that's something that I could like to share lah. Right? Yeah, I think that was that. I think I'll pass it to Naeem, in a sense, if you want to add something.
Okay, I did want to add some things lah. Especially when it comes to referring your students, for example, right? Okay, actually you guys can refer your students, yeah? If your student have like a disciplinary issue, for example, or even like learning and disability, we are more than happy to get the client that been referred. Okay, if you feel like you cannot control this particular what we call particular students, instead of referring it directly to disciplinary department, don't do that first. Okay, sebab nanti you akan dengar dia kena marah je. Okay, but refer it first to the counselling department so that we can see what we can do. Alright, and then I always remember lah, successness when it comes to practicums is actually when. This is what been told by Dr. Shako. Like, the voice is still lingering in my mind, you know, when it comes to Dr. Shako voice. This practicum is where you apply your pedagogical knowledge. Okay, you have your content knowledge already. Okay, content knowledge is the 3 years you are here completing your degree. But actually, when you go to your school, that is the pedagogical knowledge. You applying your pedagogy. Okay, alright. So I think that's all.
So for this question, we find it like, even though sometimes when we talk about observation, what comes to our mind is counselor need to observe. But actually, we as a future teacher, we also need to observe and find out what is our student is actually have maybe problem or specialty. Everyone have that kind of specialty and also problems that we sometimes don't even notice about that. So, we will move to the next question. This is question for Brother Naeem. So, another important concern among students is related to report writing and common errors that may occur. This question, I will ask to Brother Naeem lah. What are some common mistakes students should avoid when preparing their reports?
I think this is very common also. If you guys, like graph, what do you think the mistake that you will do if the assignment was a documentation? Anyone? What would be the mistake? Pardon? Buat lambat lah cerita dia, you know? You know that there's a due, korang buat lambat. Which is, it's happening and it's real. Kadang kita akan fikir macam, kita dah 3 tahun dekat, you guys kan 3 tahun dah kan? Yang masuk ROS ni kan, you already 3 years. Takkan buat assignment pun tak reti manage masa lagi. You know, those kind of questions will be like, hey, kenapa dah 3 tahun manage lah sendiri, you know, those kind of questions. But bila you masuk practicum, bila you masuk ROS, you memang tak cukup masa. Memang tak ada masa. So one of like the most mistake that I have realised is, and I did it too, is I tak buat awal, you know. I akan buat lambat and for counselling lah, specifically counselling, you guys have like hundreds of documentations. When I say 100, it is the most, I said the most printed document yang I pernah print selama I dekat UIA ni. Waktu I practicum was like paling banyak It's like the most printed document yang I pernah produce. Because you have tons of documents. You have session notes. Okay, bayangkan one client, you ada 4 session. So 4 session equal to 4 session notes. It's not include with your treatment goals. It's not include with your recommendations. It's not include with your summarizations notes. It's not include with your referral notes. So you know, one client equal to 10 documentation, and you have 17 clients. So you darab lah. You know, so that was like basically was like the difficulty where me and my colleague, what we face basically. So what to when the documentation is due, what my classmate initiative is, we do the due for ourselves. Maksudnya we remind ourselves. Sebab sometimes when you are doing your practicum, your site supervisor or your academic supervisor, they are not there to remind you every day. Jangan lupa hantar ni, don't forget to submit this, don't forget to submit this. But then by the end of the practicum, you are expected to send everything. PTPU dah tanya, okay, where's the files? Where are you submitting the files? Okay, so make sure that each of every single things that you need to be done, you are organizing it. Okay, mana yang urgent, mana yang tak urgent, mana yang boleh, mana yang tak boleh buat. Okay, those kind of thing lah. Okay, and then for counselling, we usually for counselling student, we start our practicum earlier compared to like the other courses, because at the end we gonna have our what we call case conceptualization sessions. Okay, so case conceptualization session will actually took a lot of your time. Okay, you will need to document everything. So what I did was actually to do my case conceptualization earlier than the other document, so it was not consume me much lah basically. And one of the common mistake for documentation is to underestimate the cost. Okay, be understood that practicum will actually cost you financially. Okay, this so true. Me and my friend, I lost a lot of money because of practicum. I mean, like, yeah, besides documentation like healing kan, nak pergi makan cafe and everything. You know, we did that also because it's for our mental health as well. But then, you know, kita nak coffee matcha. You know, it included in your financial preparations. Okay, I did that. Okay, I have money for my printed, and okay, beside the printed, I have the money for my healing time as well. Okay, so do that. Okay, I saw that because some of my friends are not able to perform well also because of financially. Okay, sometimes you need to conduct a program in school, and you will need to ask money from the upper management, and unfortunately, there will be times that the upper management say that, oh, we have reached our budget termly, we have reached our budget yearly, so we cannot proceed with it unless you can find a sponsorship. And imagine, as someone who are at the age of what, you need to find your own sponsorship. Kita nak cari sponsorship for a university program pun susah. Imagine for a school program. So what we'll do is to use our money. And that was one of the things that I realized that, oh, okay, I should prepare much money allocated for the practicum and ROS. So yeah, so that's from me. You want to add something?
Okay, I'll just add a few things. I so can relate with the financial constraint when it comes to practicum.
Because Erdina, like, no one ever told us that.
Right, yes.
No one ever like prepare us saying that, simpan duit untuk practicum. No, but that is the issue.
Yeah.
You know.
I wish we had that walking reminder, because it's so true. It's generally not just about things yang memang you kena contribute. It could be like your travelling, you know, funds, you know, like you sekolah tu tak semestinya dekat, you know. So that, the toll, the minyak, the, you know, everything adds up, your food. Okay, so there's a lot of, I would say that lah, banyak benda yang you have to reconsider your budget plan. That could be something that's interesting actually, right? Okay, so some things I might just want to add a bit is on about ROS lah. Okay, because I think you're more interested about ROS. So ROS ni, there will be this like revelation yang when you are there, you expect that people are going to entertain you. Sebenarnya tak, right? Sometimes, actually most of the time, when it comes to ROS, you don't wait for opportunities, you actually have to create them. And this is basically what I had to went through lah. Sebab memang dah tak ada apa dah yang berjalan waktu within the school time frame when I did my ROS, yeah. And basically I just had to make the best out of almost nothing, right? But benda ni boleh dinegotiate. They know that you are coming, so they need to give you something. So what you can do, the first day, maybe negotiate with the head of panel. Okay, let's say, what are places where I can help out for the school itself, right? Then they akan suggest you, maybe you can join us our English meeting. Tak payah banyak-banyak meeting, yang macam saya cakap tadi. Satu meeting je, right? Apparently what I noticed at the time was that they were preparing for examination. Your thought that was like, oh, that's the finishing line. Dah tak ada apa dah. No, they are actually preparing towards examination. Maknanya cikgu sibuk apa? Construct exam paper. So join that particular meeting that involves that. Still ada kaitan dengan apa yang you belajar. And this is the beauty of compiling everything that you know throughout the 3-4 years you are here, and actually making sense of whatever that they have talked about, you know, in that meeting room. So particularly I joined one meeting which is on the item construction. So which course yang you learned this? Semua course belajar ni? Very good, yeah. Testing and assessment. And there's so much more than just like, oh, about doing exam questions. Oh no, it's more than that. To construct one question, there's so many, all that, you know, that intricateness yang they had to consider, right? And there are also these issues yang they would bring in the meeting. Contohnya, for the school itself, it used to be that bukan cikgu-cikgu yang buat exam paper. So it would be something that was done by the officer dekat PPD or things like that, right? So exam papers for Form 1 and Form 2, teachers tak buat. So there was a problem. Bila ada masalah dekat the soalan, no one can rectify the issues. No one can attend to them. No one can even explain or justify. So they tried to improve by saying that cikgu-cikgu have to have the upper hand in creating the exam papers. So that's what they did. And then they analysed for each item construction tu sendiri. And I learned something. Oh, when you do like a question for even a speaking assessment, they would avoid certain questions actually. For example, they won't ask questions yang related to family. Instead of asking questions macam, why do you think your parents love you? You rasa it's a harmless question, but it's not. It actually puts a weight on their emotional well-being when it comes to the students. Mungkin benda yang it affects them. It could be trauma and things like that. So they would avoid questions like that, and instead they would reframe it to some things like, who do you love most? So you give the authority back to the student to decide what is most fitting to them that could actually, you know, make them prolong the interaction and things like that, because it's speaking, kan? So that can be something yang you are being very sensitive to whatever that's, you know, could be traumatic. Okay, you avoid those things, and these things are even back to the questions that they would ask for the students, right? So apa yang you patut letak dekat your ROS report tu? Benda-benda macam ni lah, right? You don't just describe. I entered a meeting. It's an English panel meeting. We discuss on item construction. Titik. So, what about it? You know? How do you put that analytical sense of apa yang you dah faham? You dah tahu, okay, this is something that's interesting. I did not know this. Put it in the paper. Put it in your documentation. Right? Itulah that X factor coming out of your report. Other things, macam benda pertama, school profile. Apalah yang menarik pasal bangunan-bangunan ni? Kan? So what do? You just generally just what? Describe. Kan? Kantin dekat sini, APD room dekat atas sana. Right? And things like that. It started off with a palm oil area. Yeah, okay. And then the sekolah ni population dia 2,000 orang. Lepas tu habis. Apa dia? So how do you actually change that? Add something different. Now this is how I analyse. Sekolah it was not big. Tapi ada lebih 2,000 orang. What does that tell you? Overcrowded with so many students. How does that affect teaching and learning? The large classroom size would affect how teachers can actually accommodate to the students. Betul tak? You think it will be convenient to learn with so many people? 40 orang satu kelas. You think that's convenient for teachers? That could cause what? Burnout juga and things like that. So these are analysis. This is what they require you when it comes to ROS. Okay, when it comes to your report. So bottom line is, don't just describe, okay, what the school is like. Evaluate the school. Okay, kalau katalah it's about the library. In my school, library dia, what was different was that library dia ada mini cafe kat dalam. Wow, right? Kan? Library memang dah convenient lah kan, dah ada aircon lah apa semua, right? But what's the biggest hindrance? You cannot eat. You cannot munch on something. You cannot read and eat, right? So that was the approach from the school. Have that in your write-up. What does that do to the students? Exposure to reading habit. They have more interest to read. Okay, sebab itu pun macam kita cakap lah, kita healing kan. Kadang-kadang, I mean, if you are a student, kadang you suka lepak dekat cafe, you know, with your laptop on, and at the same time you want to have something with it, right? Matcha ke, okay, matcha ke, apa ke, right? You want to drink, or sometimes you want to munch on something. That helps with your learning, that helps with the reading, right? So this is what the school provided, and it's something different that you can put it in your ROS report. So benda simple je, school layout, tapi macam-macam you boleh point out. So look into the intricate layers yang orang tak pay attention to, and make that big in your writing. And also, katalah tak ada apa lah I buat. Here's the thing. Dulu, because I had not much option, I even like had to accommodate and just ask teacher yang bertugas at the week, teacher, do you need my help? Because I'm willing to help if you need, you know, extra hand and things like that. So dia bagi I tugas apa? Ambil gambar. Okay, hari Independence Day tu pembukaan. Okay. But ambil gambar je. Is it worthy to be written on the ROS report? What's so big about that? You make it big. I was part of, technically, indirectly, a media committee. I was in charge to take pictures and videos and things like that. So you have the power to make that writing something. That is how you tackle your ROS. So susah ke sebenarnya? No. It's actually so interesting. Classroom observations pun sama. Okay, this is interesting. We have a new English teacher at the school, and we also have senior teachers dekat sekolah tu. So when I went for the peluang kanan, dia cakap, so we have these teachers, you can observe their class, but I would prefer you to go for the senior teachers. You know what I did? I just thought, why not with the new teacher? Even though she's just like 5 months in, why not? I want to know what happens in her class, because you are trying to understand that sometimes there's misconception. Kalau you baru, you tak bagus. Is it? Not necessarily. You could be a seasoned teacher, but you still have to improve certain things. Betul tak? You could be a new teacher. Definitely you have a lot of things to do, but there are some things that you bring in the classroom that may be something yang, oh, that's different. Sebab kita membesar dengan apa? This exposure to tech and things like that, right? So maybe that is the upper hand of the new teacher. Maybe they have more learning interest in the class. So what did I do? I ambil tiga-tiga tu semua lain. Satu new teacher, satu senior teacher, satu just another teacher. But I took I took the head of panel punya class just to see, right? And then this is your analysis. Compare and contrast. Ada beza tak? Usually you akan be stunned by, oh, cikgu yang baru ni pun banyak juga dia boleh buat. Apparently she had better classroom management compared to a seasoned teacher. That's your observation. That's the analysis. That's the analytical sense that you are putting into your writing. So write that down. So instead of going for this very linear take of writing and documenting, go for something yang people take for granted, or some kind of misconceptions yang you have thought of it. Betul tak? Betul ke cikgu-cikgu baru pun mungkin tak ada apa sangat dekat kelas dia? I don't think so. They are new, you know, they are more energetic, they are more passionate because, you know, they have that drive still, right? So they must have something new that they bring in the class. So go for their classroom observation. You know, so be strategic. And don't go for these conceptions yang macam you just have to follow through. Or these options, just go for this je lah. This is the most convenient. Try and challenge and think into whatever that you were curious about. And because you have the liberty of writing whatever you want, getting into any classes that you want, take that opportunity. Okay, masuk kelas tu, get something yang you are trying to understand dulu. I faham macam ni, betul ke jadi macam ni dalam kelas? Then you start to compare. That's for classroom observations, right? So look into the subtlety in things. Well, I think that would be it. Banyaknya I add. Sorry, that's not a short add to whatever Naeem have brought, but yeah, I hope you learned something. Okay, back to the moderator, sorry.
Thank you so much, Sister Irdina and Brother Naim, for the exposure for us about the reports and assessment that we need to take note that sometimes when it comes to report, we usually feel like it is something complicated and we take it like when Brother Naim said, we always do it late because we feel like it's so heavy for us to do. But it's actually when we find in a way that we comfort to do, it's actually an easy task for us, right? So finally, this question is for both of the speakers. Can you give a little advice to the participants to help them make the most of their ROS and practicum? So, Brother Naim?
Okay, what is my advice basically? I think there's one advice that I think is very important for me to deliver to you is we usually forget about it, you know, but I personally believe that when you're doing your practicum, your ROS, or even internship, you should choose the right partner for it. Okay? Probably like as for now, you already choose the partner, isn't it? Dah ada ke? Partner masing-masing kan? I mean like partner for practicums and ROS. Don't get it wrong, guys. Okay, okay. I mean like yeah, you need to choose it wisely. Okay, ada cakap okay, I'm gonna do with my bestie because he's bestie. You know, I'm gonna do with this bro because this is my bro. But then you need to remember, even so it's your friends, even though it's your bestie, even so it's someone that you know. But when you're entering your practicum, when you're entering your internship, it can be different. Okay, I'm not saying as like just saying it lah. I have saw our seniors before. They are very close, but then when they do the practicum together, and unfortunately, it doesn't work out. Okay, because they are not meant to be the work buddy, but they are meant to be bestie. Okay, it's different. So you need to draw a line there. Okay, we learn about dual relationship. Yeah, we learned about that. Okay, Alhamdulillah for you that, okay, this is my best friend and I can do my works with this person, which is Alhamdulillah good for you. But it's not generalization to every one of you. Okay, if when you are doing your ROS or you're doing your practicum with this particular person and at the end of the practicum you feel like, oh, rasa macam tak kena lah. I think both of us, we need to change lah. We can find the other partner for our next internship or practicum. Right? So it's okay. It's okay to change. Okay, it's okay because at the end of the day, both of us we need each other because we want to survive. Okay. I always emphasize that lah because when you are doing your practicum, you really need each other. Okay, even so you are very loudly saying that, oh, I boleh buat sendiri. I like to do solo works and everything. I can manage everything by my own. But when you are entering a school is actually a battlefield for you. A school is actually a foreign place for you. Okay, when you are entering foreign place, you are actually having a transition, and psychologically say that when a person is in transition, it is a crisis. You need a time for you to adjust. You know. And you're not gonna be yourself you're not gonna be yourself when you are in school. You're gonna be different, and sometimes different will bring catastrophic, and it's okay. All right. So when I'm doing my practicum and internship, I am very grateful that I found like the right one. I found like the right person for the practicum because like that particular person really helps me, you know. We need support. Support is the most important part here. So macam if kita buat sesuatu benda yang is very hard, at least we know that we are not alone. We have the universality feelings that, oh, we are not alone. I have these persons that, okay, I can support him, then he can support me as well. Yeah, you know, that is basically one of, I think, a crucial things that you should analyze on. And balik ni, fikir masak-masak, betul ke dia yang aku pilih? You know, there's those kind of questions. Betul ke aku nak buat practicum aku dengan dia ni? You know, it's gonna sound cliche even you have nominated your schools, but it's a needed question you should ask yourself before entering. But bila korang start actually? I haven't asked that. Bulan 7, 1st July 27. So okay. Got ample time untuk discuss lagi lah. Okay. And then my second advice would be, I'm gonna just pick up back your point, which is the lower expectation part, which is true. You know, sometimes youth, when we, I'm not sure you guys lah, but my batch before, when I was in school, when I saw a practicum teacher or even a internship teacher, we got like a little bit excited. You know, we wanted to know that teachers, etc. So when we are in that position now, we thought that when we are entering the school, we're gonna be the fabulous, we're gonna be the celebrity, we're gonna get a lot of present and anything, which is kind of true in some sort of reason, but it's not always like that. Okay, there will be eventually teacher who's not, the other teacher will not even know your names. Okay, even you dah dekat 4 bulan dah dekat sekolah tu, dia tak tahu pun nama you siapa. You know, so it's okay, alright? Because at the end of the day, our aims is to complete this, go over, get done, and then we're gonna get our degree. You know, that was like the mindset that we have. So lower your expectation in terms of that lah, basically. Because we thought that the school is still the same as how we are in school, but the school is very different now. It is very different. Even you are just what, apart from like 4 years, where your last experience, your SPM is what, 5 years before? When is your SPM? 2000 generally lah, I tak nak tahu umur. 2021. Okay, babies. Okay, 2021. You know, it was not lama pun. Now it's 2026, but the syllabus is different, curriculum is different, the way schools now is different. Especially those who are doing your schools in wilayah. Who's doing wilayah and Selangor? Can you raise your hand? Wilayah and Selangor. Okay, so you have to remember that the number of ratio between teachers and student is very different, you know. Now we have one teacher equal to 40 students, or one teacher equal to 30 students, which is, that is the reality now. So have the expectation of, okay, this is the thing, all right? Yeah, I think that's from me. I'll probably edit after Sister Dina say something.
Right. Yeah, very, very interesting points from Radina Aim. True. Yeah, again, lower your expectations. Well, some things I would like to bring it into the table is the fact that, you know, there are some certain ways where you can survive classroom management. Okay? Sometimes you have a good lesson plan, right? You have a good lesson plan, but you have to understand that your lesson plans need to start with the possibility of catering to all needs, not as an afterthought. What does that mean? Kadang-kadang, you walk in a classroom, you expect that these are the learning outcomes, people. I want you to do this and this and this. Settle, habis kelas. It's not like that, right? Sometimes, in a classroom, okay, you don't realize there's a lot more fear than you imagined. Banyak budak-budak sebenarnya takut. Right? That's why we have this diverse learners yang ada yang introvert. Could be like half of the class are introverts, betul tak? Right? And perhaps just a small majority yang extroverted. So they are more interested to join in whatever you have to bring in the class, but the quiet ones will just what? Shy away from opportunities, right? So there's a lot to dismantle before you can even begin the actual lesson. This is the pivot moment as a teacher. Sebab kadang-kadang you blame yourself for everything that doesn't work in the class. I rasa I tak cukup buat ni kot. You try and it doesn't work. You don't even try to put yourself in the shoes of your students. Try and understand what's it like to be an introvert. Apa yang diorang takutkan sebenarnya. right? And when you put yourself in those shoes, barulah you sedar. Sebenarnya, as a practicum teacher, you're not just wearing the hat of a teacher, you should wear the hat of a learner. Right? You have to switch hats. Perasan tak, you have this drive yang, oh, I'm gonna do great things, I wanna do big things, different things, huge things. You know? So, kadang-kadang, back to the financial plan lah, itu yang sampai habis duit buat beli money lakat lah apa semua tu. Sebenarnya, you don't have to go that far pun. This is a misconception juga. Having like these huge, grand teaching aids does not equate to effective teaching. Okay? Tapi we have this understanding yang kita nampak kawan kita kan, uish, besarnya teaching aid dia. Besarnya sampul surat. Lepas tu rasa gempak gila. And then you feel so small of yourself because apa? Time tu you are only able to have what? Printed documents. Kan? Is that necessarily bad on your side? No. It backs to you as a teacher. How you control your class tu. Apa yang you buat dalam kelas tu. It's how you execute. It's not how big the teaching aid is. Right? Then again, when it comes to your lesson plans ni, go by the understanding that you kena faham your students. Tetapi, right, when you know your bigger missions, okay, you nak budak-budak faham in a sense, right? Tapi you tahu banyak yang passive. Okay? Apa objektif as an English teacher sebenarnya? What kind of classroom that you want? For English, for English teachers, your biggest mission is to make sure that it's a communicative language classroom. For language teachers. Maknanya how do you equate whether what is failing and what is good? Kalau students you tak bercakap, is that good? Why? With language, it will only be helpful if they use it. So if they don't use it, they don't communicate, they are not negotiating meaning, they are not interacting. Nothing's happening in the class because you let them go. Biarkan dia orang senyap. Right? There's a point where you memang kena faham what are the learning styles that's available to you. Semua orang akan berbeza-beza. But with you trying to suit that keselesaan, at some point, diorang tak boleh selesa. Okay? For example, eventually they have to present. They have to do presentations. They have to still talk dekat depan. Betul tak? Right? So this is where the understanding of learning strategies. You are not just trying to teach them content, you have to teach them how to learn. Okay? For example, if you want them to speak in the front, kan? Alright? Let's say, for example, you have majority of the class introverted. You faham dulu, kenapa diorang, apa yang diorang takutkan sangat? Okay, maybe standing alone in front with a dozen eyes on you is so scary. How do you strategize and adapt so that maybe it could help the student to still come to the front and talk? Let them have one friend, teman diorang kat depan. That's how you emotionally accommodate. Okay? That's what they feel comfortable with. Kita nak diorang apa sebenarnya? When it comes to communicative language classroom, kita nak diorang bercakap. Okay, good. Right? Tapi diorang pemalu. What makes them so scared of talking in front, kan? Oh, because sorang-sorang. Bawa kawan sorang kat depan. Let that friend just stand there as an emotional support. I don't know what that person's gonna do. But eventually, kalau that makes the student to talk more, do you achieve your learning outcome in a sense? Yeah, technically. Is the language classroom happening? Yes, they are communicating. So, good. Move forward. These are strategies. And ni adalah satu benda yang kena faham. Memang betul. You have to know what they like, what they don't like. But eventually, in reality, you tak boleh ada dengan diorang. They need to still do whatever you want them to do. Betul tak? Alright? So with you not being there, you kena ajar diorang how to learn independently. So ada 3 stages actually. You start with cognitive strategies. How they can approach a certain activity. You ajar. Kalau learning, reading, kalau you baca, kalau you nak faham, maybe you search for textual clues. Okay, tak apa. You don't stop there. Move to metacognitive strategies. Metacognitive apa? It's about thinking. So maknanya you kena ajar your students to think about their own thinking. You tak boleh buat diorang rasa selesa yang, oh, my opinion is correct. So to develop that mental police in them, have them swap answers. Have them evaluate other people's answers. Barulah orang faham, oh, my answers are not always right. I'm not always correct. There are other views that are better than mine. You are teaching them how to be analytical. So it's not just about coming into the class, wanting them to execute a certain activity, but you still want them to become independent learners who are resourceful on their own, even when you are not there. But you're not always going to be there. And eventually they have to still accomplish a language task. You still nak dia orang bercakap. Right? So these things. After you dah habis metacognitive, there comes the affective strategies. Ni saya cakap, before you masuk kelas, sebenarnya banyak benda you kena dismantle, the fear. Affective constraints tu. Kita faham yang semua orang ada different affective filter. Okay. There's this thing where bila kita dah membesar, our filter tu dah menebal. So banyak benda ditolak dari diserap. It's different from when we were children. So there's so much anxiety. Where does this anxiety come from? Perasan tak? Bila kita besar, we're so self-conscious. Apparently everything's wrong about me. I'm such a problem to myself. Tak ada orang pun cakap benda tu. Tapi you rasa something off about you. So these are filters. And it could exist within your students. So again, kalau katalah you have a good lesson plan sekalipun, you dah tahu there's so much fear in the class, you have to let them know it's not about being good to get the right answer. It's to let them understand that it's good that you try. It's good that you are trying. They need to know that. You kena encourage that. Sebab mungkin to them, oh, if I don't get the right answer, I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. So they don't even try. Another aspect is that, kalau kata you end up in schools yang socio-economic, yang mungkin taklah fortunate enough like us. So students macam ni, they come to school, diorang tak ada objektif untuk belajar pun. No learning interest. So you duduklah puluh, you are this passionate teacher, giving all your might. They won't appreciate it. Sebab diorang tak nampak pun, what's the point of me being in this class? What's the point of me learning English, Arabic, Islamic education, things like that. So, apa-apa sekalipun, with whatever lesson you have, you kena tahu dulu. Diorang ada tak minat belajar tu? Mungkin tak ada minat tu lah menyebabkan they don't even think that they want to give any attention to what you have to say. And you pula penat seorang-seorang. Right? So think about it. Okay? Think about whatever that's existing in your class actually. The silent cries. Yang diorang tak nak cakap pun, you have to find out. Must be a reason. Okay? Okay, teacher mindset shift. Basically, when you start off your practicum, you ada this much ambition. Kan? I believe this is what a teacher should be. You tak boleh disregard your students. Now, here's my story. My school, the outskirts of Kuala Lumpur, essentially it's high on gangsterism. For somebody who's not used to all that, I sangat-sangat terkejut. And you could be just trying your best to get to a student, tapi dia memang tak ada minat belajar and very kurang ajar in a sense, don't have any grain of respect for you, tapi you as a teacher, you still try. So that's this particular student lah, okay, in my class, this boy. I tried so much, so hard, never punish him. Okay, tapi he will go to an extent of what? Memang no homework done, right? Couldn't care less. He would write something when, the first activity I did in my week 1, I asked him what's so hard about English. He would just, or an activity, what do you like? He would write something like, I like smoking. That's how, he does not take anything serious out of me. Memang dia tak hormat me at all. That went for weeks, even after trying so hard and being kind to him. To a point, it got so hard that I just, I have to find out from an insider. So I had one student in my class. I ajak dia pergi office and I sat with her. She's a good student. She's an Indian student. And I asked her, what's the issue with me, this and this person? How do I help him? What do you think? And then there was this revelation. Dia bercakap kat I, teacher, actually, you don't have to focus on him because, even when you leave the class, he would actually put the middle finger up behind your back. How much my heart broke listening to that, because I was like, okay, what do you don't understand? Apa yang awak tak faham? And then another activity, I will include his name, just to get his attention lah, in a sense. But I don't know why I do that in the first place. Okay, but because I care, I'm trying to tell him that I care. Regardless of what your story is, I'm not going to find out, I'm going to respect that. I hope you respect me in return because I care, right? But he did that behind my back and it broke me as a teacher. So I felt macam, apa yang tak cukup sebenarnya? What's not enough that I bring to the table? Right? And then I realized, why do I care so much about this one boy, even when I have tried so much, it's not working, when I have a dozen of, intellectual people in the room who wants to learn from me. So instead of focusing on this boy, do the justice to focus on the students who would want to learn from you. So strategize your energy. So bila orang cakap, my understanding, my teaching philosophy before I started everything, I was like, I cannot disregard any student. True enough. Tapi it's also a matter of choice. Budak tu tak nak belajar. You dah buat apa tak jalan. Stop. Let him just be in his own bubble. Focus on those who actually want to learn. Who respect you for you, who appreciate you. Sebab kalau you focus sangat dekat sini, we've learned this. Right? It's going to backfire. Apa pula budak-budak ni akan fikir? Oh, teacher ni you can get her attention only if you like misbehave in class. You don't want that kind of message, right? So think about it. Alright? Again, when it comes to practicum itself, there's a lot more of introspecting. When you start off, you're someone different. You habis, somebody different. Actually wiser. Percayalah, mana yang shy, macam, oh my god, I'm so scared. I'm this shy person. How am I going to survive practicum? I had friends like that. And when it ended, wow, you're different. They become more confident. Those tough experiences tu lah yang akan mematangkan you sebenarnya. Right? And then about theory versus reality. There's this understanding yang apa-apa you belajar in the 4 years, ada orang rasa yang tak penting pun. Bila practical, macam tak ada benda pun yang function. Tak penting lah, all those 4 years is all to waste lah. It's not the same. Yes, it's not the same. What's the point of learning sebenarnya? With what you have understood, you have to stitch that to your teaching take dekat dalam kelas. That's your authority. Alright? Kalau you dah tahu, you dah belajar EDEP tu kan, you dah tahu this is the spectrum of special needs. Dan dalam kelas, you dah tahu ada benda does not work. Here's the thing, the act of avoiding certain approach also means that it came from an established theory. It's breathed through whatever you have understood. You tak boleh cakap, I tak belajar apa-apa. No, you tak nak buat benda sebab you rasa, benda tu tak function dalam kelas. That is an understanding of, you dah belajar certain things, so you tahu apa benda yang would work and what doesn't. It came from something. That logical take, that intuitive role as a teacher came from something. And that is from all the 4 years that you have learned. So if I have the ample time like you, before practicum, try and revisit apa-apa yang you dah belajar. What does the scholars say? Okay, about learning itself, about the fear, about the affective filter, things like that. Sebab benda tu semua, you katalah you tak buat, you tak fikir, you are doing it within your experience. You don't realize it. You avoiding something will also mean something. Okay? Right. Okay. Finally. Accept your circumstances. Accept your circumstances. Now, back to the point where you start to compare your journey, kan? You dengar orang lain, sekolah dia ada leave, student dia baik, bagi dia hadiah gempak-gempak. You rasa so small about yourself. You rasa macam, why am I dealing with all this? I am a hard worker student, I am an overachiever, tapi kenapa I'm dealing with all this? It's really hard. Now stop questioning that and understand the fact that maybe bukan kawan-kawan you yang kena pilih, tapi you kena pilih, mesti ada sebab. Maybe for a good reason, Allah thinks you can do it. Among the rest, you were placed there. So this is something I would like you to reflect on. Believe that you are placed where you are meant to be. Among the rest, you were put in this school because Allah thinks and knows that you could handle it. And because that, sometimes it's not that the school, it's not that you that needs the school, it's actually the other way around. Perhaps the school needed you. Okay, the school needed you. I had a position, I had these doubts, yeah. I was in my lowest points. Sebab I rasa penat sangat. I feel like there's just not much things working for me and some students are misbehaving and things like that. So with this low motivation, apa yang I rasa sebenarnya? How do I know whether I've done enough? Okay, this is what my mum said to me. Mengajar dan belajar adalah satu benda yang melelahkan. The idea is that is the word of melelahkan. It's not memenatkan, right? Maknanya lelah is like an extended version of what? Exhaustion, drain, right? Perasan tak? Bila penat sangat belajar satu kelas tu, you keluar, you tak boleh fikir apa, you nak makan je. Betul tak? Otak you berasap, kafe, ayam gepuk, shawarma. The moment you leave your class, okay? Two for me is an indication that I have done enough. What was the guideline for me? What metrics for me whether I've done enough for my classes? Dulu, if I feel less than that, I'm not doing enough. Mana I keluar, I tak rasa lapar, I tak rasa penat, I tak rasa otak I berasap, then you are doing less. So again, if your practicum experiences put you in a position where you rasa lelah, take the understanding of the fact that you have done enough. You have been doing your best. You have been giving your 200%. You have this clear conscience to focus on your journey, right? And that's good enough. So move forward. So again, apa-apa sekalipun, sekolah macam mana you dapat sekalipun, environment macam mana you dapat sekalipun, focus on the small blessings that you get. To me, lain tu semua challenging for my practicum. Tapi satu benda, the teachers were my blessing. They really appreciated our time there. They acknowledged the much help that we were given. We were celebrated at the very end of our practicum journey. So yes, everything was like catastrophe lah in a sense, kan? But it was so meaningful that, you know what? The rarity of people experiencing this, but it's me, I got this. That's good enough, right? So again, jangan compare your journey. Practicum is meant to make your journeys different and unique, and be proud of it, and have a strong heart and mind that you have this conscious ability and conscious desire that you want the best out of this generation, kan? So make the best out of it. And if you've done that, you rasa penat, you rasa lelah, good, you're doing enough, right? So I think that will be it. Thank you so much. I'll pass it back to the moderator.
Thank you so much for the valuable insight that both of our speakers have shared and advice for us throughout this session. And as we all know, sometimes like Brother Naim have said that we need to choose the right partner. Sometimes even though we expect that someone's that doesn't really know about us, but as actually they give us emotional support sometimes without we realize it. And also from the last question that we have asked for our speakers, like Sister Irina have mentioned that we learn and as a learners. So we as a future teachers, we learn to improve our quality, and that is the most valued things that we need to find in ourselves. So by that, we will now proceed to the Q&A session. If anyone from the audience has a question for our speakers, our working committee will assist you by providing a microphone. As for the participant watching through Facebook Live, you may put your questions in the comment section.
Hello. Bismillah, tes. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mohaimin and I'm a TESOL student, third year, second semester. I'm intrigued by your statement by Sister Edina when you say that if there are students that are actually participating in our class, we sometimes have to neglect that. But in my experience, I've heard from my lecturers that she said, doesn't matter how hard the situation is, we cannot disregard the students. So how do we find the balance between it? Because sometimes when we are doing the practicum and then we have the observer to observe our teaching, so they will question us if we disregard those students. So how do we strike balance between attending students that want to learn with us and actually not let these other students affecting our lesson? Thank you very much.
Right, thank you so much, brother, for the question. Yeah, true. it's actually like a tough thing to look into whether to disregard, you know. Generally, with that understanding, memang you tak boleh entirely put and push that student away. But it's just that you are actually navigating your focus, right? As much as budak-budak ni tak disruptive, should be okay, right? Tapi at the end of the day, you cannot disregard a disrespect that's happening in your class. Itu something that I don't advocate for lah. Okay, regardless of, let's say, kalau ada student tu memang dia memang delinquent ke in a sense kan, masuk kelas and lambat ke and things like that. In an observation, you have to stop what you are doing and actually address that behavior. Why are you late? You tak boleh disregard benda tu. Betul. In that sense, yeah. But with the understanding of what I said just now, okay, my experience too is with this boy where dia taklah macam mengganggu, you know, he was not like a parent, because apparently when the supervisors come in, dia senyap pula, dia tak mengganggu. Dia pula baik pula. Okay, there's nothing to address. But then again, when we have students who are more engaged, they would like to answer the questions and things like that, or they respect you and for what you bring, so you see their active engagement in it. So focus on them lah. Alright? Janganlah you actually nitpick je dekat budak yang asyik you tak dapat something ni. Right? So it's more of diverting who needs more of your priority and weighing that. That is where the disregarding comes in. Sebab eventually, do you just waste the entire 1 hour lesson just for this boy to respond to you? Dah dia tak nak, okay tak apalah, but focus on those yang who are actually wanting to reach you. Because then again, it's not about this balance of I nak juga semua. Tak boleh boy ni pun kena sekali. Get the attention, get their attention to have their focus on me. Tak semestinya. If it only needs you one student, focus on that one student. Tapi tak adalah I cakap, okay, I buat private session dengan you je Okay, you jumpa I dekat pejabat, kita belajar one to one je. Sebab I memang nak disregard semua ni. Semua ni memang, okay, tak juga. So, does that mean I disregard these students? Tak. I ajar je macam biasa. Right? But the priority of my energy and time and my conscious will to want the best for the students. I know that there's some students who are eager for what I have to bring into the classroom. So water that kindness to those students too. But then again, are you disregarding those yang maybe tak berapa nak suka your class ke whatever? Tak, because you're still teaching dekat depan. If they ask me questions, I will still answer their question politely as whatever that they need. Tapi takat tu je lah. Faham tak? Sebab itu je yang dia nak daripada I, betul tak? Right? This is actually back to permission system. Sebenarnya, there's also this understanding when it comes to error correction. There's this expert, dia kata, tak setiap masa you kena betulkan your student. Apparently, if they don't want your help, you don't give them help. And there's this coding system that he did in the class. Kalau warna hijau, maknanya you want my help. I can correct you. Tapi kalau warna merah, maknanya you don't want my help. So you don't correct the student. That's an expert punya understanding juga. But the whole part of disregarding tu, it depends on the context that I bring into the experience. For this matter, I did not disregard the student. There's a problem bila you tak cuba. Tu masalah lah. Papa, I tak suka student ni, I tak buat apa-apa. Lantak dia lah. Biar dia. Tak. You ajar dekat depan still, betul tak? Kalau dia tanya soalan, you address the question. So are you disregarding him? No. I disregard for the fact that kalau itu je yang dia nak, itu je I bagi. I tak bagi lebih. Sebab dia tak nak. Faham tak? So it's a matter of diverting that energy and time and passion to those who really want it. That is the context I'm addressing actually. Does that answer your question? Alright, good. Thank you, brother. Okay. Any other question?
So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Farisha binti Mazahari. I'm from third year first time student, Islamic education teacher. So, my question is open-ended question, siapa-siapa nak jawab pun boleh. I will be having my ROS on 27th July. So, pendapat, I've been heard yang macam kalau kita jadi seorang ROS teacher, we need to be someone yang macam pasif. Bukanlah pasif apa, maknanya jangan let the teachers expect kita more. Macam, oh dia budak ni gempak ni, boleh tolong aku pergi ganti yang lebih daripada bukan hanya sekadar relief teacher. Because kadang-kadang kita terlebih buat benda tu dan daripada buat macam kita jadi pasif je. Kalau tak, nanti kita yang kena point out. So saya nak tanya soalan, macam mana kita nak check and balance betul-betul untuk kita being the one yang kita nak learn more better than macam diorang yang macam suruh kita buat tu dan ni. Faham ke maksud saya, soalan saya? Macam untuk kita belajar daripada seniors teachers, tapi in the same time kita tak nak look too overpowered untuk diorang take advantage. Thank you.
Alright, so basically, one of the thing that is also important for you to know is you need to be proactive. When you say about proactive, is for you to know what that you can offer and what that they can offer to you. And one of the things that what been done is for you to ask first instead of they telling you what to do. Okay, so basically we will have a lot of programs in schools, kan? There will be programs that you need to handle a jejak gemilang SPM, for example. So there's the program happening. So what you need to do is to ask, is there anything that I can help? Because actually I kind of disagree in terms of the word passive, because you shouldn't be passive, because practicum is actually a moment or a period of time that you need to learn and you need to be proactive as much as possible so that you can learn more. Okay, but then a borderline should be drawn. Okay, and how to draw it? Actually by asking first what I can offer, what can I do. So as how Sister Irdina said just now, she asked the teacher, can I be the photographer, for example? So you are asking so that even the teacher will acknowledge, oh, this practicum student, dia orang yang tanya nak kena buat apa instead of kita kena suruh. Those things actually is a very good example to build your image as well and your first impression on how the school seeing you. Yeah, is it answer your question? Alright, thank you.
Your concern is on you don't want to overwork yourself. That's the difficulty, right? Because you just want to do your best at what you have to do, but at the same time you don't want to get this bulk of work pula just because you're good at it. Okay. Again, back to Naim's point, it's about negotiating. Make that apparent. Whatever that's available to you. Tapi betul juga, proaktif tu sebenarnya memang kena sinonim dengan practical teacher. You have to have this mindset that you have to do more actually. Tetapi I think what we can draw the line is, you dah memudaratkan diri you ke tidak? Faham tak? If you dah sampai tahap memang depression in a sense, you fall into that loophole pula, then that's a moment you have to speak up lah. Maknanya it's getting to you and you cannot function well. So maybe address that, make that transparent to the teachers available to you. Teacher, it's not that I don't want to help, it's just that I'm not in the right headspace ke. I believe we can all understand that. Mesti ada ihsan daripada cikgu-cikgu ni. And a funny story for my school, sebab me and my friend, we are just the two people for the afternoon session. So we are given this lump of relief classes and they even make a joke out of it. Irina, akak dah letak dah nama awak dekat dalam relief tu Tapi I terima je the joke. Kenapa? Sebab my mindset, I'm not here for long. And lebih banyak I memahami posisi-posisi cikgu-cikgu ni, baru I faham. Diorang pun tak ada masa untuk berehat. They have to curi-curi masa even untuk, run to get some food ke and things like that. The more empathy, actually kan, what would help you? Try and listen through what they have to go through, tengok jadual diorang. And then baru you rasa, yalah, I'm not here for long, I have this much energy, I rasa I still boleh push lagi. Tak apalah, I'm going to sacrifice my energy. Tak apalah, get that other added extra for relief classes. Tetapi, when you need that leniency, because you tak selalu minta, that is good. You tak meminta-minta, tapi janganlah selalu minta. Ini sikit tak boleh, itu sikit tak boleh. That is a bad image, right? But rather, when the time comes, contoh, we never say no to help out extra. Tetapi when it comes to our observation days, you know what the teachers gave, in a sense? they let us not have relief classes at least before our observation. They understand yang we need the mental preparation. Tu pun, tu paling best dia boleh bagi. That's okay. That's good enough. Faham tak? But then again, bila you cuba memahami their side, usually they will understand your side. As long as you're not an over complainer, right? You macam tak nak lah nanti benda ni penat lah. No. Being a practicum teacher tu dekat situ itself means that you have given a license for people to ask for your help at any time, at any capacity. Tetapi itulah that line tu. Kalau it's getting to you, your well-being, address that. I'm pretty sure they can understand. And then you don't have to overwork yourself. Yeah. But then again, sister, have a good mindset in the sense that apa-apa sekalipun, I can help, I akan tolong. Right? Okay.
I just add a little bit lah.
Okay.
Okay, for the negation lah, this is the tips. If you wanted to say no, don't say directly to the teacher, but say to your site supervisor. Because each hour we will be assigned with a site supervisor. You know, because when you say directly, it will some sort of way, it's gonna like, you know, having like it's not a good image for you lah. So you can say no, but go through it through your site supervisor first. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, hello. Yeah, Assalamualaikum. My name is Faiz. I'm a third year counselling student. So I have two questions. Is it okay? Okay. Okay. So for the first question, here's for Brother Naim. How do you go about finding clients for group counselling, and how do you like ensure that they maintain confidentiality between amongst them? And then for the second question is open to both of you guys. Like, how do you guys balance your responsibilities, like with the documentations and stuff? And then are we obligated to join the programs in schools? That's all from me. Thank you.
Alright, so I will answer the first questions basically. Okay, for counseling student, okay, in order for you to do your group counseling, first step is for you to advertise first. What kinds of group counseling are you conducted? Okay, for example, you are conducting about anger management or grieving or even trauma, for example, right? We advertise first, and after we advertising, my previous school, what we did, we make a poster and they will ask the teacher to forward it into the class group. So we said that if you guys wanted to like enroll in this group therapy or group counseling, you can came into counseling room and registered. That is the first thing lah. The second thing on the requirement, the recruitment is actually through our relief classes. When we enter class, we told those students that okay, Teacher Naim, I conducting like a grief counseling group therapy. So if you are interested, you can just come and see me. You know, that is how you kinda like finding your clients. And also, we have need assessment, isn't it? From the need assessment, there will be the name of the students. So you can actually identify the student, meet the student privately, and ask whether she interested or he interested or not to join. Okay, and then when it comes to the confidentiality among friends, okay, each of the group session, first session, ensure that it is very structured. When I say structured, meaning that it should be based on clinical structured. So you brief clearly regards to the confidentiality. You know, we have like the informed consent, isn't it? There's a consent that is required for the participant to sign. So we explain it clearly. Okay, this is the consent. So when you put your name and you sign it, you are required to follow the rules of not sharing to others, etc., etc., etc. And you also explain the consequences of what will happen if the confidentiality is being break. You know, so make it very clear. So that usually first and two session is actually a session that is being allocated for you to explain to the participants that this is the confidentiality and you need to take care of it. Okay, I hope it's answer. So Cecilia wanted to answer the second questions.
I was so invested that I forgot the second question. What was the second question again?
Obligated something, right?
Is it about obligation, whether you're obligated, right? It's a balancing
to join the school program, is it?
It's mostly on that, right? Okay. Obligated. No, that's a big word. Mana ada you are. It's a really fine line. Not really a fine line. It's just black and white, right?
Yeah.
Yes or no, join or tak join, kan? I think it depends on how you think the situation is at. Kalau ada semua cikgu join, you can't like run away, right? Faham tak? It's the weight of the programs, whether it involves you heavily or not. To me, what I would evaluate is the fact that, contoh kalau if it's an English program, you TESOL student, right? So an English program is taking place, tapi you tak join, that would be problematic, right? Because technically you still have some kind of presence in that, okay? But ada benda yang you are not obligated. Tapi to me, brother, if you are so like, you know, like conflicted, ask away. Just ask. Teacher, respectfully, are we supposed to join? Tak adalah can we join kan kena masuk pula kan. Right, I know you're trying to the whole point is to try to get away, right? Right, bukan you tak nak join, but you're trying to limit, you're trying to be strategic about your energy. Kan, sometimes benda yang tak penting you tak adalah you join. So when it comes to obligation ni, it actually depends. Kalau memang you kena ada, to me it's obligated in the sense that kalau memang ada kena-mena dengan you, memang English punya ni, kenalah join. Right? Tapi ada things yang mungkin macam ada ceramah pasal case ni. Ada certain teachers je yang akan assign untuk jaga the students, usually. So the best that you can do is just ask away. Can we, do we have to be here? If not, I would like to, you know, dismiss myself. Ke apa kan? The worst that you can get apa sebenarnya? A no. Right? The worst that you can get is a no.
A no and a side eye actually, okay? I want to add also, for brothers specifically or for any guy in counseling major, you need to join. Because each of the programs that conducted in school, there is from Department of Hal Ehwal Murid. And counseling is memang directly under Hal Ehwal Murid. Wa ima walaupun English ke, mathematics ke, science ke, sejarah ke, name it. Counseling teacher, we are there. Okay? So, join je. Jangan tak join, please. Okay? I hope it's the answer lah. Okay?
Right. But you're TESOL students, right? Ke bukan? Oh, counselling. Kenalah join.
Sorry, kena join. Sikit datang. Even hari Sabtu pun datang
But for the rest is, you can ask away. Okay? Right. Does that answer your question, Brandon? Okay.
Any more? How many we have? Like, can the committee say that how many we have?
How much time we have?
Yeah.
11 minutes. Oh, we can do a question. Siapa tadi? Okay. Anyone, any of you would like to go first? Okay, I'll go.
Alright, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Afir Shamil. Currently in my TESOL student, currently in my third year, first semester. So my question is, as what Sister Irina had mentioned before about that ROS is just about fulfilling the requirements. So my question is, could you please maybe like detail out a bit about the requirements, meaning that what kind of requirements should we meet, or in terms of the contents, what should be written in the report and other things. So that would be all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Afi, for the question. Okay, a familiar face. Right. Actually, I did not want to go into detail sangat sebab I thought it would be time consuming. Okay? And I assumed that you would get a certain rubric. Betul tak? You get that rubric, right? So I just thought that maybe I don't touch on it as much lah and more on the experiences. But then again, that you ask, what are the requirements? To me, the requirements lies in the rubric. Generally, apa yang you kena fulfill lah. Kalau you kena interview 3 teachers, then you have to find those 3 teachers. Kalau you have to interview the head of panel, you have to find the head of panel and things like that. Right? That is very much how you can fulfill the ROS report requirement. And generally dia ada letak juga kan macam, is there a certain like level kalau you nak dapat this and this marks? Kan? This is what they expect. Right? To me, as whatever that I have mentioned about ROS report ni, the requirement is a requirement. You fulfill that, good. Tapi what makes your report stand out? That's why I enlightened that on that a lot more lah. Sebab you kena stand out lah your report. Okay, then you are an A student. Okay, so what makes you different to that lies within your reflections. Now about fulfilling the requirement, if I'm not mistaken, your school profile, betul tak? You start off with the school profile, you kena letak gambar and things like that, the school layout, the population, how it's like and things like that. And then you have the academic matters, participation in academic matters. In my case, again, the reflection on the in-house meeting for the English panel meeting. And then for the relief classes that I entered, I had something to talk about it that lies under the academic matters. And then after that, we have about the curricular activities that you have to join in, right? Banyak and macam-macam that you can do. So yeah, that. And then what else? The classroom observations, the interviews, right? I'm pretty sure that's outlined in the rubric. Are you briefed on these yet? I'm pretty sure you, patutlah, but you will get that briefing actually. You will get a briefing that specific guideline of what's required out of your report. And itulah the tip yang I get to give you is just that you fulfill, dia minta ni, you bagi, okay. Take that a step further, give an expected to your writing is how you reflect in your report. Is that okay, Afi? Sure? Okay. Inshallah you'll
Can I ask, like, when is your TTPU schedules briefing? Not yet. Okay, there will be happening surely, so don't skip it because that will be like a clear picture of what you need to do. Okay, regardless which courses are you, when TTPU say that okay there will be like a briefing happenings, join it. Usually it will be online, right?
Yeah, it's online usually.
Yeah, it's online. Yeah, it depends lah. Okay.
And I would like to add, kita orang sebenarnya tak boleh nak say much about what's the standard now. Sebab then, yeah, these are the things that they require. Maybe there's something new. So I thought it's not our place to say. And it depends on that briefing that will give you the complete picture what you are required to do. Okay, so I'm just trying to be safe and we can just talk out of our experiences.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Like that. Yeah, but inshallah you'll get what you need. Right? And just do what they require and try your best to outstand yourself. Yeah. That'll be it. Okay. Any further questions? Okay. Okay, that time.
All right, thank you. It's very, it is actually very interesting question and it's also important question actually. You need to remember when it comes to classroom management, the most important thing is student safety. You know, whatever happened in the class, we wanted to ensure that each of the students that are inside the class is safe. Okay, so usually there will be SOP that is being operated in the schools and one of it is restraint, you know. So usually what will we do is we're going to have a backup, okay. But you need to know how to ask for helps basically. So what happens in my school is we have the group official WhatsApp groups, right? So that is where we put like a SOS mark. So SOS 4 effective, for example. So for example, like the event happens in Form 4 classes. Okay, so SOS 4 effective, and usually there will be a set of procedure that there will be a backup coming to help you. Okay, because our aims is to ensure that the student safetyness. Okay, even so there is a fight happening, you know, but we need to restrain it. We need to, but at the same time, you need to also ensure that you are also safe. Okay, because you know sometimes we wanted to like okay, jangan gaduh, you know, and everything, but we need to see first lah. Okay, that was the thing, and then the second part is to also see the escalating before it escalates. Okay, that's a sign. You know, usually the voice, okay, shivering, and psychologically when we are in our anger, when we wanted to burst our anger, firstly we will start with sweating, and after that we gonna change in our voice. It will be trembling, it will be loudness. Okay, that is a prerequisite skills of having anger. You know, so as a teacher, observe that too. Okay, so when you observe that, you kind of grasp that, oh, okay, this gonna escalate. So okay, we have to ready a backup and thingy. So usually for sekolah menengah, we will have a disciplinary department ready for it. Usually disciplinary department will have 3 to 4 guys or teachers, you know, and usually they will the one that who comes to for a backup. Yeah, I hope this answer your questions.
I would just like to add, because I was in that kind of situation, kan? I was one of those clueless teachers sebenarnya. But again, back to whatever that Brother Naim has mentioned, I think it's a good thing. That's the proper channel. Go to the counselling team. Maybe they have a backup plan for you, and usually that's a standard procedure that would be ready for you to accommodate to this type of students dekat dalam your class. It's an important reminder that you tak boleh take matters into your hands all the time. Even try to nak, you know, just take them away from fighting and things like that. You could endanger your own position and also endanger more students that was around lah. Okay, again, tak semua benda you have to take matters into your hands. If let's say maybe you are more like whatever that's near to you, I think letting the supervisor know is also very important. This was the situation in your class, all right? And then again, you have that good option of making sure that the counselling team knows that okay, ada this type of student in your class, alright? Jangan pula you join sekali bertumbuk dengan budak tu kan, you nak stop you tumbuk budak tu pula. Actually kan, this is a reality. It actually happened. Practical teacher join sekali sebab dia nak leraikan. Tak ada pun intent to hurt the kid. But then again, you rasa itulah the viable way because they're all just throwing fists to each other. So you thought it was best, I throw another fist. Right? Satu benda you kena ingat, you hanyalah practical teacher. You're a practical teacher only. Cikgu dia yang dah seasoned teacher kat situ pun tak go that far to slap or to put and to tumbuk and things like that. So who are you as a practicum teacher to join in such things and to think that you know best to deal with such situations? So again, back to what it boils down to, ada things yang you can't take matters into your hands, you have to reach out. Yeah. Does that answer your question? All right, thank you.
Hello. Okay. So this is question from LT2. Okay. To Brother Naim. Earlier, brother mentioned that we also need to prepare financially before practicum. So, in your opinion, how much should we roughly prepare for the expense throughout practicum?
Does any financial advisor?
Fine.
Or maybe brother could share an estimate amount based on your experience.
Okay, kalau suka pergi KL is small, it's gonna increase lah, okay? But basically lah, for you guys gonna print a lot, okay? You gonna print a lot. Usually we gonna use a lot of money for stationery stuff, right?
Things like all the papers and the printing lah.
Yeah.
Printing is so much. Nampak macam tak mahal tapi sebenarnya mahal.
Thank God, like we have. Kopi ada lagi ke? Dah tutup ada lagi ke? Kopi and everything kan, promote pula kan. I mean like we have good printing services here, but I highly suggest, especially for counseling students, you bought your own printer because you gonna use nanti you kali-kali you darab-darab, it's the same amount that the money that you bought with your own printer. Okay, so have your own personalized printer, so it's going to be very easy to you. And one thing, sekolah, sometimes schools, they don't allow you to use school printer for your materials. You need to print by your own money as well, you know. So duit PT dah dapat ke? just asking, you know, everyone yang dapat duit PT, simpanlah, yang dapat beasiswa, simpanlah sekejap. Yeah, because at the end it's gonna cost you that much actually. Yeah, so when I do I did bought my own printer. I beli paper and etc. It costs quite a lot
I think
lah.
that's a universal experience for
Yeah.
all courses pun. Memang there's a lot of
Exactly.
printing. It's going to cost a lot of money. So yeah, saving up would be a good start lah. Now you have the time kan, save up a lot. Maybe daripada high maintenance kejap, me you know,
Yeah.
like
Tone down je
don't
kot.
seek
Yeah.
healing too. Right? Maybe just one matcha, not two. You know,
Yeah.
right? Just that. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much to both speakers for your insightful answers. So by that, for the last question, that brings us to the end of today's forum session. So we hope that the valuable information and experience shared by our speakers give you useful insights and guidance as you prepare for your ROS and Practicum journey, inshallah. So, as Aristotle once said, for the things we have to learn before we can do them, we learn by doing them. So may this remind us that true understanding comes through experience and practice as you move forward in your journey. Carry your confidence, sincerity and willingness to learn and grow. May Allah ease every step of your path in this important phase of your learning and teaching journey. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Well, now I would like to hand the session back to our MC, Sister Nurfatin Ayuni.
Thank you to the moderator and speakers for an insightful sharing just now. You may now return to your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, what an insightful and inspiring sharing session we've just had. On behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to express our deepest gratitude to our esteemed speakers for their time, effort, and valuable knowledge. With that, we would like to present a token of appreciation to our guest speakers. To begin with, I would like to invite the President of Bachelor of Education Student Society BES, Brother Muhammad Faiz bin Mustafa, accompanied by the Program Manager of From Notes to Board, Forum on ROS and Practicum, Brother Harit Hakimi bin Ruzlan, onto the stage, as we would like to give a token of appreciation to our guest speakers. Please welcome. First, I would like to invite Sister Nur Irdina upon the stage to receive a token of appreciation. Thank you, Sister Nur Irdina. Next, I would like to invite Brother Shahil Naim onto the stage to receive a token of appreciation. Thank you, Brother Shahil Naim. Thank you also to Brother Muhammad Faiz bin Mustafa and Brother Haritakimi bin Ruslan for completing the TOA session. With the end of the token of appreciation giving session just now, that marks the end of our program. Thank you to all guests and participants for joining us tonight, and thank you to all committees for making this program a success. On behalf of the committees, I would like to express our heartfelt appreciation to all participants, guests, and everyone who contributed to this program. We sincerely apologize for any shortcomings on our part, and we hope that everyone had a wonderful time and gained useful knowledge. Amin. A friendly reminder to all students, before you leave, please take a moment to fill in the feedback form for today's session. Please bear with us in a moment. Next, we would also like to invite everyone to scan the QR codes displayed on the screen for Guru Nemtech purchases as well as co-ed merchandise purchases. With that, let us close today's event by reciting Tasbih Kafarah and Suratul As. Before we adjourn, I kindly seek your cooperation to gather at the center of the hall for a photography session. I will now pass the floor to the photographer in charge.
Everyone, please gather at the center of the hall as we're gonna have a photography session. Stand up, everyone. Everyone, please stand up as we're going to have a photography session. Berdiri. Alright, everyone, please gather at the center of the hall. Stand up. Sister at the back, please stand up. Huh? Maybe for center, you have to take a seat. Yeah, take a seat. Brother, please squeeze in. Sister too, please squeeze in. Squeeze in. Okay, so first we're going to take a formal photo firstly. Okay, formal photo. Put your hands down. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now for the informal photo, pose. 1, 2, 3. Change pose. 1, 2, 3. Last pose. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now we're going to make a video. So, okay, so PM will say forum and forum on ROS and Practicum, and everyone will say it's a wrap. Okay, did you get it?
Alright, so everyone ready? Okay. Bina tolong kira boleh? Sorry, Shasha kira boleh?
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Forum on ROS and Practicum. It's
Tak sempat lagi sangat. Boleh ke?
Okay, kita buat once more, okay?
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Right. Forum on ROS and Practicum.
It's a wrap.
Thank you, everyone.
With that, our esteemed guests, our program has officially come to an end. You may now leave the venue at your convenience. We sincerely appreciate your time, presence, and participation throughout tonight's event. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good night.
Okay, sekarang.
Komiti, kita stay dulu ambil gambar komiti.